our streets during protest over the acquittal of a former policeman who shot a man to death in 2011. Several hundred people marched through the streets of St. Louis again on Monday evening, but rallies remained peaceful as intermittent rain appeared to keep some protesters home. More than 120 people were arrested late Sunday when police in riot gear used pepper spray and detained activists who defied orders to disperse following larger peaceful protest. David Carson, a photojournalist from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, tweeted that he and others heard some officers chant, "Whose street? Our street," commandeering a refrain used by the protesters themselves. Video circulating online shows a group of officers and the chant can be heard. Carson said he spoke to a police commander at the scene who said any such chanting would be unacceptable and he would deal with it. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After vetting the 37-year-old for factors such as looks, screen presence, and film credits, Hollywood insiders unanimously agreed this week that area man Dennis Kiernan lacks the sheer star power necessary to carry a major motion picture. Industry experts spoke to reporters today about the Charlottesville, Virginia resident, who they say just doesn't have what it takes to crack into the A-list.
Love him or hate him, I think we can all agree that Dennis Kiernan is not a bankable star. He's got to have sex appeal, talent, charisma, and most importantly, that X factor. I should want to sleep with Dennis. I should want to be Dennis. Do I want to be Dennis? No.
Experts agreed the Virginia native and father of one does not have the widespread appeal required to secure a distribution deal with wide release, while also saying they had no reason to believe Kiernan would ever be capable of delivering the type of powerhouse performance that generates buzz at Sundance, Cannes, or Comic-Con.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free, bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450 free, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. In the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Yeah, and Johnson.
We also have a special guest co-host on his way in as we speak. Will Coley is going to be joining us for the first time from our Keene studios, which I'm very excited about. We've had Will on. Longtime listeners know him as one of the founders of Muslims for Liberty. That's Muslims, the number 4liberty.org. And he is the newest, he and his family are the newest movers here to beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, as part of the ongoing New Hampshire Liberty migration. So we'll look forward to talking with Will and catching up with him and what's going on with the Malek Center that he was planning on opening up, New Hampshire's first full-time mosque. So if you want to join us, you can bring up anything that you want. Still to come here tonight, Johnson, you wanted to talk about Donald Trump in the UN. I guess he gave some big speech, and people are talking about it. Also, the Electronic Frontier Foundation has withdrawn from some kind of consortium.
The W3C, which is a well-known, they set the standards for the web, essentially.
They've withdrawn publicly.
Right, yep.
Over some kind of disagreement. You're going to tell us about that,
and
too.
I actually have a lot of concerns that this is going to mean some splits among, like, it could be very dramatic times for the World Wide Web.
Different sets of standards?
Yeah.
Like the freedom standard and the not so freedom standard?
Yeah, very, very possibly, and it could mean a lot of strangeness. I don't know what it could mean. It could mean a lot of bad things. I can't see a lot of good things coming from it, unfortunately.
Well, you know, like we've seen with Bitcoin splitting, there's some good things that have happened because of that, because when Bitcoin split into two Bitcoin last month, it was August 1st when that happened, it was the first time that had ever occurred, this hard fork into two competing Bitcoin-esque currencies. That, you know, on the positive side, that meant that each sort of team or each interest group, as far as how Bitcoin should fix itself and scale up, they now get to do what they want. So now the people that want, you know, Tactic A, as far as the technology, they can have Tactic A. The people that want Tactic B, they can have that. I'm not going to use I'm not going to give our new listeners all the details behind that, but let's just suffice it to say that there have been two heated groups that have been having a conflict within Bitcoin for a couple of years or a few years, and so this allows them both to go off in separate directions, and I think that's a good thing. But on the other hand, it's not a good thing when you have two Bitcoins, because that's a super confusing thing for the marketplace. So how do you explain to the average person, oh yeah, you need to use Bitcoin, but not that Bitcoin? Because that can be very, very confusing.
Yeah. Imagine if people were saying, you need to use www, but not that www. HTTP, but add an F for freedom or something.
That's confusing. So that may be what we're getting into here.
Yeah, really strange.
With this. So we can talk about all that. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. As we continue here, we got a story out of St. Louis. Daryl shared this with us earlier. And apparently there are protests going on in St. Louis over the acquittal of a former police officer who is white, who shot a black man to death back in 2011.
Apparently. What's the proper pronunciation there? Is it St. Louis or St. Louis?
St. Louis, I don't know. You have to ask the people from there. Actually, Wikipedia, I think, might have pronunciation guides for some cities. I don't know if it does for all of them. St. Louis police are investigating, supposedly, whether some of its officers chanted, "Whose streets? Our streets!" during these protests that have been going on. Several hundred people marched through the streets of St. Louis on Monday evening, but rallies remained peaceful as off-and-on rain appeared to keep some protesters at home. More than 120 people were arrested late Sunday when police in riot gear used pepper spray and detained activists who defied orders to disperse following larger peaceful protests. As St. Louis Post-Dispatch photojournalist David Carson tweeted that he and others had heard some officers chanting, "Whose streets? Our streets," commandeering a refrain used by the protesters themselves. A grainy video circulating online shows a group of officers, and the chant can be heard. Carson said he spoke to a police commander at the scene who said any such chant would be unacceptable and he would deal with it. But it's interesting that it allegedly happened in the first place. Of course, the brass are saying, oh, well, this would be wrong for our officers to do. Shame on you, boys. Tisk, tisk.
To chant in the street?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Well, and they really shouldn't be doing that. Obviously, police, hitting people and hurting people is the worst thing they could possibly do. But the attitude
I mean,
here,
the things that they do, daily basis.
Yeah. But it's the attitude, though, of, we own you.
Well, yeah.
We control this place. This is ours. And I think, I'm not a fan of chanting in general, whether it's coming from the police or the protesters. I think chanting is just this mindless thing that people do, and it's annoying.
Who thinks not us?
Right.
Who thinks not us?
Yeah, that's actually, I've never actually heard that before. That's really good because
it just made it up on the spot.
Yeah, it does seem quite thoughtless. It's just some monkey starts chanting, and I'm saying that for all human beings, just to be clear. It's like chanting people are like a group of shouting monkeys to me.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. And so now you've got the police who are ostensibly doing it. The protest, by the way, followed a judge's ruling on Friday, finding the former officer, Jason Stockley, who's now 36, not guilty of first-degree murder in the 2011 shooting of Anthony Lamar Smith, who was 24 at the time. The clashes evoked memories of riots following the 2014 shooting of a black teenager by a white officer in nearby Ferguson, Missouri. Police spokesbureaucrat Shron Jackson, that's a name, Shron. He says, quote, "The department is aware of the videos circulating on social media and is reviewing the footage. We hold our officers to the highest standards of professionalism, and any officer not meeting those standards will be held accountable." So wait a minute. You expect us to believe that you're going to hold officers accountable for chanting after you just basically, did nothing against the other officer who was accused of murder? So, they're going to take chanting real serious, but if you murder somebody, then okay, well, you get off on that. Such actions could only inflame tensions, said Nicole Barton, executive director of the St. Louis Police Civilian Oversight Board, which is also investigating the Ethical Society of Police. A group of black St. Louis police officers tweeted on Monday that there was no need to chant. While most protests were peaceful, some turned violent at night, with some people in the streets carrying guns, bats, and hammers. Police Commissioner Lawrence O'Toole said, quote, "We're in control. This is our city, and we're going to protect it." Which, that's the same attitude, isn't it? So it's bad to chant, but if you have the police commissioner come out and say the exact same thing, because whose streets are streets is basically a rewording of we're in control. This is our city, and we're going to protect it. So, just because they put the statement that they're going to protect it in there, again, that when they say city, what they mean is the government, because the city is a municipal organization. That is a government. When people, I think, make a mistake of conflating a piece of land with a political jurisdiction, that confuses people, and it allows people to misunderstand when they hear government bureaucrats like this saying things like our city or public. These are all code for government. When they say they're going to protect and serve you, when they say they're going to protect and serve the city, or when they say they're going to protect and serve the public, that's not talking about you. If they happen to protect and serve you, because every now and then the police will actually solve a real crime. They'll actually go after a real criminal who's committed an act against another human being or a piece of property. Well, that's good. But they're not obligated to do that. So it's just like a nice thing when they actually get it right and they actually go after some real bad guys. But they have no obligation whatsoever to do that for you.
I mean, it's more likely that they're serving the interests of whoever's wealthy enough to be lobbying for some sort of favors from government in whatever municipality that happens to be in.
They're definitely going to serve those people, and they're going to serve the politically connected, and they're going to serve their buddies, their families, and then if they got time, they might show up at your house a half hour after you call them for something serious. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Coming up, what's going on with Trump in the UN? Plus, we're going to be joined by Muslims for Liberty's Will Coley on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities, all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You like your friends, and you like LRN.FM, or you wouldn't be listening. So like your friends enough to share something you like with them. Please share that you're listening to LRN.FM on your favorite social networking site.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try. Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free. Join us on the radio waves. Bring up absolutely anything you want to discuss. Our toll-free number here is 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so you're welcome to join us over there if you want to comment on whatever happens to be on your mind. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. It's Ian and Johnson in the studio. Here tonight we are joined by a special guest co-host who many have been waiting eagerly to arrive here in New Hampshire. Probably one of the more built-up arrivals, because you've been doing a fundraiser to actually move your whole family up here. 5 kids, you and your wife. Will Coley, welcome to Free Talk Live.
Howdy, how y'all doing tonight?
Man, we're doing good. We had a a good day together.
Yeah, right? We had a good day. Wore out.
It's actually, today was a little bit of that thing's broken. So sorry. You can't sit back too far from that microphone.
Right, it just lands in your lap all of a sudden.
Pretty much it's only gonna go so far without falling straight onto you. Anyway, we had a good day. We've been having some busy days where there's been a lot of work going on the future Malik Center.
Yeah.
Which is a commercial property here in Keene, zoned commercial, Keene, New Hampshire, where we do this show from, that has been donated to you, basically, in the Malik Center, your vision for creating a full-time mosque, the first full-time mosque here in Keene, New Hampshire, the first one of all of New Hampshire.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And
it's kind of crazy. I thought it was just going to be Western New Hampshire, but
it looks like you're going to beat the rest of them to the punch. I mean, even with whatever delays we've been experiencing, it looks like because they're waiting on governments. They're going and they're getting permits and they're doing all kinds of stuff like that. And basically, all we got to do is clear out some junk from a house.
I've got the oil guy come in, and the fire department's coming tomorrow to take a look at that the burn thing on the side of the house.
Oh, yeah. There's an issue with a wood stove.
Yeah, they're going to tell me how I can fix that in a way that'll make it safer, because I do want it to be something that I don't have to worry about, keeping these homeless people warm. I don't accidentally set them all on fire.
So for listeners that don't know, I mean, maybe you're just tuning in for the first time here tonight, in addition to this being a mosque, which means that you'll have, 5 prayers a day? Is that right? Because Muhammad
all 5
negotiated down from 50, I think it was.
Yeah, but we will.
God originally demanded that people pray 50 times a day.
Yeah.
And so apparently God is subject to negotiation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Actually, Moses, I think that makes it even funnier that it's the patriarch of the Jews that told him, no, that's not a good deal. You should go back and negotiate.
I didn't know that part of the story.
Yeah, Moses stopped him and is like, no. I didn't negotiate when he did this for the Jews, and it made things really hard for my community. So you should go back and negotiate a better deal. So yeah, it's kind of funny.
I think the Catholics know about the negotiations too when it comes to the Hail Marys.
Yeah, right.
Oh, really? How many of those are you supposed to do?
It just depends.
I'm loving the look over here.
Depends
too.
on the severity of what you did.
Oh, really?
I'm loving the look.
Right?
This is great.
I don't know enough about Catholicism, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah.
Does someone in our studio audience know a thing or two about that? Okay, that's good to know. So you've been raising some money for this thing, this move, which is going to require some work being done on this house. It was a house where people were living previously, if you want to call it living, but that's another story. Anyway, that it's going to need some work. We've been doing a lot of cleaning out over the last, I don't know, few days, several days at this point. When did we start? Friday? When did you show up? You showed up Sunday. I think we started Friday.
2 days before us.
Yeah.
You started 2 days before we got here. And that's why when I got here and I saw the condition it was in, I was like,
what did you miss out on?
Yeah. Well, actually, I heard from somebody else who shall not be named that they cleaned on the house for 2 days before you started cleaning on it. So I couldn't imagine
they
what
didn't
it
clean
looked,
crap.
I couldn't imagine what it looked like at the very
It's too bad if you had more forewarning. I mean, I know you do a lot of video, like vlogging and whatnot. You could have had like time to prepare and download some scary music, so you could have done like Hoarders Keen Edition.
Right.
It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was the level of Hoarders, but it's pretty bad. And I don't want to get into all that. That's not really relevant. Right. So, and besides, I hope that the people who were there can find a path to redemption. So I don't want to drag them through the mud on this. Let's just say it was a mess.
It was a mess, and we're cleaning it up.
Yeah, it needed to be cleaned up.
We're cleaning it up. Hopefully tomorrow, because the drywall guy and stuff is going to be doing all the work on the inside. We're hoping that we can start on that addition and we'll get it scrubbed down, every inch of it scrubbed down, and possibly, if I'm really lucky, because we're supposed to have at least 2 more volunteers come tomorrow.
Awesome.
We may be able to start painting that area tomorrow. I'm hopeful.
Well, I actually just bombed the porch tonight, so
paint with a layer of bleach first.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It will
have a deep
be
clean.
Deeply clean. Hopefully, we'll start about noon. I'm hoping that we can clean, and with the amount of people that we have there, we can knock out the cleaning in about 4 hours. Give it a little time to dry, and then just start throwing some paint on the walls.
Yeah, you've got a really cool vision for this place, and you've been kind of outlining that in video posts that you've been making. Now, you just created. You're a very active Facebooker. You're on that thing constantly, always updating. But that it seems to work for you because you do it so much.
He probably checks his notifications.
He probably does. I've given up on that. You do it so much that you get a lot of interaction. You get a lot of the what do they call it, engagement on there. So, you've been very successful at kind of
our very first post for the Malik Center. This is a brand new Facebook page that was just created.
Yeah, that was what I was going to bring up.
The very first post had engagement of over 400 people.
That seems pretty good.
The first 24 hours. Yeah. And that's with 40 likes.
Right. Yeah,
Still engagement that high, So we're pretty happy with.
Well, people like a good project. We've had Mark talking about the Ugandan fundraiser here for a while, which is something you can actually contribute to over at hope.freetalklive.com, where there's an orphanage that's being built, and we've been helping them raise money and Bitcoin because it's actually all being sent via cryptocurrency over to Uganda. Where they need a new orphanage. The one they have is, it's old, it's crappy, and kids are laying on the floor, sleeping on the floor. They need more space, and they're getting it because listeners of Free Talk Live and Jax.io and GetSell411.com have stepped up to double match contributions, which always helps with raising money. But we've been doing it step by step. So they lay the foundation, you take pictures of that, you start putting up the walls, you take pictures of that, and then each step you raise a little bit more. And you had to raise a big nest egg to kind of just even make the trip and get the ball rolling. You were about 50% of your goal? Where you at?
Yeah, we got about 50% of what we needed. We wanted 11,000 to start off with.
Yep.
We're at about, I want to say 6,000 now. Total.
Okay.
6,200, somewhere around there. We wanted to finish that out, and we figured that would be it. But now with the extra repairs that we're finding that are going to be necessary, it's probably going to add $2,000 to $3,000 to the budget, and that includes having to stay we weren't planning on spending a week or two in a hotel. There were other.
I was planning on you spending a week in a hotel because I told you, man, this place wasn't going to get cleaned up overnight. There's more coming up here. Will Coley's joining us. You're here for the whole show, right?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here.
Right. There's more coming up here, and you can share your thoughts. You want to talk to Will? You want to bring up whatever's on your mind? We can still talk Trump on the way here. Johnson's got that to share with us. 855-450 free like freedom. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username for you is lrn.fm. In the studio tonight, I'm Ian.
I'm Will.
Yeah, I'm Johnson.
And you can join us to bring up whatever you want. Still to come, though, we got to talk about Donald Trump and his speech to the UN, plus the W3C. Is that what it is? It's W3C, right? This consortium
World Wide Web Consortium
of groups and companies that makes up the standards, like HTML5, for instance. That would be one example of that. That's their thing, right? HTML5?
Yes, that's
their
correct.
thing.
Yep.
So these
CSS3,
these web standards, they're the ones who come up with that, and there's a big fallout. There's a split possibly going on within this particular group, and Johnson will tell us more about that as well. But we're talking about the Malik Center right now with Will Coley, who is with us, newest mover to beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and you've already gotten a taste of the haters in town. They've been watching. They've been waiting. They were ready for you, man. Calling the fire department on
2 days in a row.
2 days in a row, snitching on fires in the backyard, or alleged fires in the backyard.
Yeah, lately the activists who come, there was a time where I've said, on air here about, activists my feeling that they were not being forewarned enough about the realities of being an activist and moving to New Hampshire and some things that could potentially go on. And now I feel the opposite. Now I feel like, we told you. You just didn't believe us.
Yeah. I underestimated you.
Oh, really?
You're like, they're overblowing it. This has been with a couple of activists.
I live in rural East Tennessee, man. For me, it was like, it couldn't be as bad as the good old boy system.
Yeah. Well, the good old boys are everywhere.
Yeah, and I got here and I was like, whoa,
guess what?
This is like living in Etowah.
There's rednecks in the north too.
I know I'm here,
The good old boys are everywhere. I mean, anywhere there's a town, anywhere there's a power structure, there's going to be, like in Keene, there's these old families that have lived here for generations. I mean, the people, white man in Keene goes back a long time compared to some of the rest of the country.
Get a load of me,
right? Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. That's why I'm glad you're here, because we need more good activists who can handle a little bit of hot water. Because the Keene has been described in the past as like a fishbowl. I think it was Garrett Ian who described it that way, as like this place, like a stage, basically, where everything you do is bigger here because there's just not that many people here. So anybody that makes a little bit of noise becomes talked about in town.
Right.
And, everybody knows everybody else.
And somehow Keene has become this reverberating crystal echo chamber that it's not just you get talked about in Keene, and those echoes are heard throughout the state.
Well, what I think is
it's not just Keene anymore. When something happens in Keene, it tends to go elsewhere.
Oh yeah,
we've made our intention pretty crystal clear ourselves as far as what we're coming here to do. I mean, we've made it pretty evident. We're not here to go pee on some statue or something in the middle of downtown. We're literally look, we're here and we're trying to create services for the local community. We want to be what's the word, setting the pace for how to be a better servant of your neighbor.
Right.
And that's our purpose for coming here.
All I can say is finally.
Right. And our purpose, we're not coming here to stir the pot, so to speak, and be provocative. We're here and saying look, we're libertarians and we want to represent that you serve best by serving others, and that you don't need the state to help do all of these things, because we're going to come here and we're going to try to give these services the best that we can in every way we can.
And I think that's great.
And
there have been people who've come here over the years who have done a lot of volunteering in the community, and I think most of that goes unsung because I'm not the kind of person who's going to go and make up a news article every time somebody goes out and does something nice for the community. I don't want to pat myself or anybody else on the back that much. But you're going to stir it up just by the first part of what you said was, we're libertarians. Stop right there, because you've already made people angry.
Yeah.
Because that's all it takes. People who see the writing on the wall, so to speak. They know that there's these libertarians that are moving here. Because I've been here 11 years now, and we've been reporting on a lot of the activism that's gone on here. They know, a lot of them do, that this is happening, and it's frustrating to them because everywhere else, libertarians don't have an impact. Nobody talks about them. Nobody's writing front-page news articles about them. We've had 2 front-page news articles in the last 2.5, 3 months here about Bitcoin, for instance. I mean, the activism is frequently on the front page here. You've been on the front page. 3 in the last 3 months, because there was an article about the Malik Center.
Yeah.
And so all you got to do is be somewhat active, be somewhat public, and you become the talk of the town. And that's to some extent a good thing and a bad thing, because when the people are talking about you, some people are going to decide they don't like you.
Yeah. Well, what I think is funny is that what people are saying about us is we're coming here to offer a space to the homeless, to offer a worship space to multiple minority faith traditions that are here in this area that can't afford to create their own single space.
Like the Quakers.
Like the Quakers. Like the Muslim community, like the Orthodox Jewish community, because you have a Reconstructionist, modernist Jewish community, but you don't have a place for the Orthodox Jews to worship. We want to be that space where, it's like, we don't want you to rent a hotel room anymore. We don't want you to rent a storefront anymore. We want you to have a home, a place that you feel like you can come here and you can have your holiday dinners, like you can come here for Rosh Hashanah and make traditional Jewish food in the kitchen and have a traditional Jewish meal for your holiday. We want you to do that. This space is here for you to do that. And we've made that very, clear that that's why we're coming, and we're still being treated as though we came here and poked everybody in the eye and kicked the first person we saw in the balls and said, screw everybody. That's how people are reacting to us. And to me, it's just really odd and a little off-putting that we've made it very clear we are coming here to give charitable service to our community.
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're going to come up with all kinds of stories.
So wait, so I know a little, very little I know about this. So you're going to be trying to set up a kitchen in there to do the whole double ovens and all that stuff, so you can do the halal and the kosher and all that.
That's right.
Hold those thoughts, boys. Let's go to the phones here. Your calls and thoughts. Stefan is on the line. He's in Ohio on via Skype. Hello, Stefan.
Yes, I'd like to discuss some of the things that are going on in St. Louis with the riots and such.
Yeah, sure. What's going on?
I notice a lot of people are quick to automatically blame the protesters for being violent because a couple of them decided to, toss rocks into store windows. Okay. And I don't understand why so many people instantly take the side of the police officer. I guess maybe in places like this, because I live in a relatively small area where police don't cause too much trouble, a lot of people think in their heads, well, the police have never bothered me, so I'm going to be on their side immediately. Do you think that can be a factor in judgment?
Can you kind of rephrase the question?
Basically, a lot of people that are blindly supportive to the police because, their police have never given them any issues.
Right, they're the respectables.
Yeah, so instantly it seems like those people want to marginalize anybody who actually is oppressed by the police.
Sure.
And ignore things like systemic racism, for example.
Well, yeah, I mean, the people are going to ignore the things that don't validate their worldview, right? So that's cognitive dissonance in action, where somebody is presented with evidence that the police are being violent, the police are acting outside of their jurisdiction, the police are doing things they're not supposed to do, and they'll blame the victim. Oh, well, it must have been this other person who they're attacking. It was their fault, obviously.
Well, I think it has partly to do with who the protesters themselves end up lashing out at. Like me, when I see a person whose argument is that I'm being oppressed by the police, which I totally agree with. Police are oppressors. But then you burn down the Starbucks or the 7-Eleven in your neighborhood that's actually adding to the local economy. If the police are the issue, then
go to the police station.
For real, take your pitchfork and your torch and go to your local police substation.
Stefan, if you got more comments, you're welcome to stick with. We'll continue here in moments. 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, you can join us here on the radio and take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever you want on Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The Crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the Crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the Crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the Crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the Crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions to that other site? I know you are. And I'm here to tell you about a great alternative to sell your stuff. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the best-selling site to ever come along. It doesn't matter what you're selling, big or small, it's easier than ever. And you can use Skype to show your items and get to know your potential buyer, and they can see that you are for real. No more blind trust. And you're not limited to snapshots. You can video what you're selling to better sell it fast. For as little as $9.95, and that's after a free 30 days, you can sell everything you no longer want with absolutely no fees, ever. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and become part of a community of buyers and sellers who have already discovered this revolutionary way of getting it sold online. That's BuySellMakeOffer.com. You'll never regret making the switch. BuySellMakeOffer.com. So, what are you waiting for?
Readers rejoice! This week, Amazon unveiled the Kindle Flair, the latest model of their popular e-reader. The improved device has the ability to loudly and repeatedly announce the title of the book you're reading so everyone knows how smart you are.
Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut.
The hot new e-reader includes a massive catalog of titles, a sleek, easy-to-use interface, and a loud, clear voice that barks the name and author of your book on a loop. Amazon says the repetitive shouting is a small feature that makes a big difference. Readers say that with crystal clear 150 decibel stereo speakers, the Flair provides the most conspicuous reading experience yet. When you're not reading, the Flair automatically switches into bookshelf mode, which conserves power and reads off a list of everything on your Kindle.
Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, a confederacy of dunces.
And Amazon's competition has also stepped up their game as Apple released a new iPad that whispers, "I have an iPad," over and over again.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm. Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free, bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. Tonight, it's Ian here.
Will.
And Johnson.
Hey, if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, then join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy. Fees are low, transactions are quick, and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to Dash.org. And you'll find out why. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, Stephen in Ohio was calling about the protests happening in St. Louis, Missouri. You were talking about the respectables, the people who they don't have any issues with the police, so they just can't believe it when they hear things about the police, doing things that are completely inappropriate, whether it be murder or chanting whose streets, our streets. So go ahead. I don't know if you had more that you wanted to say, Stefan. You're welcome to.
Well, yes, it's because I've had personal experience with individuals who every time there's, they get downlift of a police shooting or something like that, they always look for the first excuse to make an excuse for the police officer. Like I'm sure you remember who was the guy in Minnesota, Philando Castile?
No, Castile was somewhere else. Or wait, no, Minnesota? Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking Missouri.
And I think most of us rational people could agree that was a completely unjustified shooting. But I had still heard things such as, Philando Castile should have never put his hands near his waist or things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the excuses.
Asked for my ID. I've got to do most people not keep their ID
in a pocket or purse or something?
In your rear pocket? Yeah. Do you not have to reach past your waistband to get to your back pocket? I mean, come on.
Yeah, if you're a man, if you're a woman, they got what they call the girly pockets, so you can't put anything in those.
Basically, you're not allowed to put anything all your belongings, if you are driving, need to be on the dash. and then they'll pull you over. Yeah, then they'll pull you over for an obstruction charge.
Right. And I'd like to respond to one of the comments your guest had made, like how these people should go to police departments. I've actually asked this before, and the response I'll always hear is, well, you have to make actual people aware of it. Nobody's going to care about it if you just go to the police station.
What are you referring to?
If you set it on fire, they will.
I see what you mean. You're talking about the protesters. You're talking about the protesters.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. No, I just like to clarify. I don't think that destroying, the property like that is necessarily a good idea or a safe thing to do.
I would respect them more,
but it would make more sense.
They're saying, look, the police are the evil ones, but there's a local business. It's run by a local guy. It's like a Shell station. It's your only place in town to get
a lot of those.
I don't know that I would respect them more, but I might respect their intelligence more.
For real, you're gonna burn that down, the local guy's business,
right?
And the police station, they're literally in the police station laughing at you.
That's why
as you destroy your local economy.
That's why again, I don't agree with the tactics, but I had some respect, like you were saying, for the Occupy Oakland. Because they actually went into City Hall and destroyed stuff that was in City Hall. Like, if you're going to go and do that kind of thing, then it makes a lot more sense for it to be a government building instead of some private organization or company. So, Stefan, go ahead.
It's kind of like how I'm sure in a lot of protests they block the streets. What I was getting at here is a lot of people will tell me that people won't care unless they're personally affected, because if they are blocked in going to work, for example, they might actually listen to what the protesters have to say.
Why would they? Why would anybody who is trying to get to work actually listen to the person who is preventing them from getting to work? I've never understood that particular claim, because maybe it's coming from people who don't like to work, which would make sense, right? Because the kind of people that would block streets are in a lot of cases the very same kind of people who don't, they object to the idea of working. They want to have the government give them a paycheck just for existing. Those are the kind of folks. So maybe it makes sense from their perspective as to why they think that people would actually want to listen to them. But anybody who actually values what they do, anybody who values their time, is going to be so inconvenienced by people blocking the road that they are going to be either not willing to listen at all, or angry and might even lash out at you for doing those sorts of things.
While I don't agree with the tactic, I have to ask, are you more likely to look at a sign if it's right in front of you blocking you from getting to work, or are you actually going to stop to look at the people holding signs on the side of the street?
But it doesn't matter, because if you look at the sign but yet you feel anger towards or frustration towards the person who's holding the sign, you're not likely going to be persuaded by it. You're not likely going to spend any real time thinking hard about what it says or visiting the website that it might be promoting. So, I mean, I'm a protester. I'm an activist. I've done these things, but I don't stand in front of cars. I hold signs on the side of the road, and I wave and I smile at people. And you know what? I get a lot of honks. I get a lot of waves. I get a lot of smiles. Every now and then somebody flips me the bird and yells, "Get a job." But, that's just, that's how it goes. That's what these things are like. Hey, thanks for the call, Stefan. I appreciate hearing from you.
I wonder, those same people that don't really think, about they just got a job.
Got a job.
I wonder if they saw, because they're the same people that are probably like, immigrants go home. If they if they would shout, like immigrants protesting, like Donald Trump or something, protesting, and they're like, get a job. Oh, wait. I mean, don't.
Get 2 jobs.
No, don't take our job. Never mind, don't take our jobs.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it seems like they will yell at. It seems like they'll yell at anybody.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what your sign says. They're going to yell, "Get a job" at you.
You could be like, protesting, like it could be like Wall Street, and they're like actually like stockbrokers protesting, some kind of bank thing or whatever, and they'd still be like, get a job.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. People don't think. They just see and they react. And that's why you have to keep putting the message out there. You have to be consistent. You have to have frequency, as I call it in advertising. You want to get your brand out there. You want to get your message out. You got to keep pushing it so that when somebody thinks of, oh, I need a plumber, well, then they think of your plumbing agency, because you've been putting it out there that you're available and that you do a good job and all that. Let's continue here. We got David. He's in San Francisco. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, David.
Yeah, how are you?
Yes.
It's funny. I heard you mention Oakland Occupy, and a lot of people don't realize it, but here in San Francisco, Occupy ran for, 2 years, but they set up right in front of the Federal Reserve. We've got right by the clock tower is the Federal Reserve, real prominent spot at the foot of Market Street, and we gathered a whole lot of, let's say, a good cross-section of the demographics by setting up in front of the Fed.
Okay.
If you start looking at the corruption in banking and in finance, and the Federal Reserve's role in all of it, can't be ignored. So that was a real standard for setting up a protest to begin with, and there was very little violence, and the only opposition were from people that seemed to support the Fed.
I guarantee you that violence at protests is most of the time likely going to be police provocateurs, undercover agents whose job it is to go in there and actually start something, throw a bottle or start pushing people or whatever it is. We've seen it so many times where people have actually successfully identified agents provocateur within protests. And I'm not saying that protesters wouldn't do that. Some of them would, for sure. But I truly believe there are a lot of cops out there who want to have a fight. They want to have a fight with those protesters, so they're going to put one of their own in there, and they're going to make it look like the protesters are doing something, because they'll blame the whole group for the actions of one person.
It's happening.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen it in the news.
Yeah, they jacked their budgets with it. In fact, there are a number of different. If you were to look at Black Bloc, just do a Google search of Black Bloc plus photographs of police provocateurs, you're going to see a whole lot of different incidents where they all of a sudden, somebody will throw something and then all of a sudden duck behind the police lines, never to be seen again.
Yep. David, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You may join us as we continue here. We got hour number 2 coming up. Plus, Johnson's going to tell us about the Trump speech to to the UN. We can talk more about the Malik Center, perhaps. I don't know if we've quite covered all of what's going on there and the vision for the future and how you can help contribute. We didn't get to that yet either.
Right.
There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Attention type 2 diabetics. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has warned that Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR and other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes cause an increased role in amputations of the toes, feet, and legs. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-475-7607. That's 800-475-7607. Again, 800-475-7607. Call now. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. www.injuryhelpdesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 19th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,308 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,033. Antiwar.com reports accompanied by fighters from South Korea and Japan, U.S. bombers staged a simulated attack on the Pilsung training range just miles from the Korean demilitarized zone, dropping live bombs on the site. The bombers involved were from Guam's Andersen Air Force Base. This is significant not only because the simulated attack run used live bombs, but also because the bombers in question were dispatched from Guam, the base from which an actual U.S. attack on North Korea has long been anticipated to originate. Such a move raises the stakes of a bombing run so close to North Korean soil and doubtless had the nation gearing up for the possibility of a real war starting, with retaliatory strikes at the ready, which isn't to say that such shows of force are rare in the area. Far from it. The soaring tensions between the U.S. and North Korea have everyone in the region fearing war at a moment's notice, and major military exercises are seemingly constantly ongoing. While the U.S., Japan, and South Korea are holding this bombing run, Russia and China are also beginning naval exercises in the area, making clear they're present and ready to respond to any sudden wars. Such shows of force tend to build upon one another, with everyone trying to one-up one another on such activity. Such moves necessarily also raise tensions even further and risk precipitating an accidental war. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports President Donald Trump declared a federal emergency in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as Hurricane Maria bore down on the Caribbean on Monday. The declaration makes federal funds available for the U.S. territories, which includes St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John. The action authorizes the Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Emergency Management Agency to coordinate disaster relief efforts. Hurricane Maria is a Category 5 and is threatening the islands less than 2 weeks after Hurricane Irma devastated the area, particularly the U.S. Virgin Islands. Last week, officials said it could take years for the U.S. Virgin Islands to recover from Irma, and it may take months for power to be restored. St. John was among the hardest hit islands in the Caribbean. Residents were boarding up their already damaged houses, and some prepared to evacuate to shelters. Omari Williams, a resident of St. Thomas, told NBC News, "People here are trying to get safe. Officials are encouraging more people to come to public shelters, especially if their home is already compromised." Others were evacuating to Puerto Rico. USA Today reported about half of St. John's 4,500 residents fled the island since Hurricane Irma. On Monday, officials issued a hurricane warning for the U.S. Virgin Islands ahead of Maria's arrival. FEMA dispatched a boat with more than 1 million gallons of water and 111 generators to Puerto Rico, and emergency officials set up 450 shelters. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports St. Louis police are investigating whether some of its officers were chanting, "Whose streets? Our streets!" during protest over the acquittal of a former policeman who shot a man to death in 2011. Several hundred people marched through the streets of St. Louis again on Monday evening, but rallies remained peaceful as intermittent rain appeared to keep some protesters home. More than 120 people were arrested late Sunday when police in riot gear used pepper spray and detained activists who defied orders to disperse following larger peaceful protest. David Carson, a photojournalist from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, tweeted that he and others heard some officers chant, "Whose streets? Our streets!" commandeering a refrain used by the protesters themselves. Video circulating online shows a group of officers and the chant can be heard. Carson said he spoke to a police commander at the scene who said any such chanting would be unacceptable and he would deal with it. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This week, the Forest Service rolled out a brand new Smokey the Bear campaign in which the popular mascot burns to death. They say they hope the shocking turn will get people serious about preventing forest fires for once. The new campaign depicts Smokey the Bear noticing a family leave a flame unattended. Before he can put it out, the entire forest is consumed and Smokey dies in agony while trying to fight the blaze. Despite educating the public for over 70 years, the Forest Service says wildfires have only gotten worse and it was time to take their warnings to the next level. The new ads aim to show that if Smokey the Bear can be killed by the very type of fire he works so tirelessly to prevent, it could happen to anyone at any time. So what's next for the long-running campaign? Well, now that their primary spokesperson is out of the picture, the Ad Council says the PSAs will shift focus to a new character named Little Brian. He's the boy whose family caused the fire in the first place, and he's grappling with crippling guilt over Smokey's death.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free to bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. In the studio with you tonight, I'm Ian.
This is Will.
And I'm Johnson.
That's Will Coley joining us for the first time in our Keene, New Hampshire studios. He and his family have made the move here to New Hampshire after several years of coming up for visits throughout the summertime at the Porcupine Freedom Festival, for instance.
Yeah. When we got here in the welcome wagon, Chris and the welcome wagon were like, so did you sign the statement of intent? And I was like, well, actually, no, because I had no intention of ever moving here.
Really? So what you're referring to is the Free State Project. It's one of the organizations that's moving, encouraging libertarian types to move here, and they have a statement of intent that basically, in the past, people were signing it saying that they would move to New Hampshire as long as other people, also thousands others, are willing to move. So when did that change for you, Will? I mean, you didn't have any intention to move, but here you are.
Well, basically, life just kind of fell together in such a way that it looked like this was the way that that God or the universe, or however you want to put it, wanted us to go. Everything in our life just kind of was pointing us in this direction, even though, like I said, it was something like, I'm an East Tennessee boy. That's me. And that's, I was raised there. I, as far as I know, I'm going to be buried there eventually one day, even if I live here for a while. But I just never, and I've never lived north of Kentucky.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
I never lived north of Florida.
Right. So it's culturally, it's a little bit of a shock for me as well.
Now, when you say that, when you say culturally, I mean, you haven't even been here a week. So what do you mean by that?
Just customer service in certain places. In Keene or in Brattleboro, it's not that bad, but in some other places, some of the bigger cities around that we've bumped it.
In New Hampshire?
Connecticut and Massachusetts surrounding
those are different
area.
Places, you understand.
I'm from the South. To me, Yankees are Yankees. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's a difference, right? Like,
I've come here and it feels a lot like Maryville. It feels a lot like home. It feels like Alcoa or Friendsville or Lenoir City, where I grew up. It feels like it. When I walk out on my front porch of a morning, it looks like where I came here from, and the culture here seems very similar. But as soon as I venture out of like this little bubble here, it's like there's a whole real world of like exactly what I think people from the north act like.
Hey, New York City is only like an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
New York City? No, that's 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
4.5?
Almost.
What?
New York City? We're in Keene.
Drive.
Albany is what you're thinking of, I think.
Yeah, I'm talking about a drive.
Oh, well, okay. Maybe
Albany's 2 hours from here.
Yeah.
Albany's 2 hours. Okay. Maybe I'm... Oh, yeah. I'm thinking... I'm thinking back when I was living in Connecticut, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
It takes 3 hours to get to, down in parts of Connecticut from here.
Yeah.
But
head on down to New York City, and so, it's still not that far. I mean,
no,
in
that's
terms of driving wise.
New York City.
Then you get the real, I feel like even Boston isn't as, you can't get the same dose of liberalness as you can when you go to New York City.
I don't know. I try not to spend time in either place.
You want to get the full steeped in Yankiness, you got to go to New York City.
Well, I mean, you can always tell when somebody's coming up from somewhere else, like in New Hampshire. The people who freak out, for instance, like if you were to walk downtown and, in some cities in New Hampshire and carry a gun, if somebody calls the cops on you, they're not from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Because the cops are going to walk up and be like, they might respond just because they were called, and they'll just ask you questions about your gun, like what kind of gun do you have? Because they're interested. Like they love guns. They're New Hampshire cops.
How you like it?
Yeah, they're into it. They're into it. If they ask you to see it, it's only because they actually want to look at it, not because they want to take it from you.
Yeah.
So it's a very different place, and it is like an oasis almost of freedom in the sea of statism. Maine and Vermont are better than Massachusetts and Connecticut. In fact, those were two of the candidate states that the Free State Project was voting on. They chose from 10 different states, and all 3 of the northern New England states were in the lineup, although they didn't make it close to number 1. It was New Hampshire was number 1, Wyoming was number 2, and then Alaska actually ended up getting ranked as number 3.
Makes sense.
So, and actually, that's how I happened to vote for them as well. So a lot of people saw the benefits of all of those things. But New Hampshire won overwhelmingly because it had 101 reasons that I forget who it was, but somebody came up with this very exhaustive list of all these awesome reasons why New Hampshire is already the most free place in the United States, and it's only going to get better as we move thousands of libertarian types, especially people like you, Will, who you don't hide the fact that you care about freedom. You're a very devout Muslim. You've done a lot of studying on that, and I'm enjoying learning about it from you. I mean, I've read the Quran, but that's not the same as what you've done. You've done a lot of study, like scholarly kind of studies on this stuff.
I've sat and listened to some really great men teach some very, very great lessons, yes.
You also do your own radio show called The Call to Freedom, and that is heard, well, it's supposed to be heard on LRN.FM on Sunday nights, but the last couple of weeks you've been moving and transitioning, and nobody's had any chance to really stop and breathe until tonight, where Mark called me tonight and he said he's got to go to some kind of meeting. He asked me, if he could call out. And I said, that's fine. I actually tried to get Daryl to come in and host the show, but he's got a meeting to go to, so I actually had to come in and host tonight because I've taken like the last, except for Sunday when we all traveled out to Portsmouth for the Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree re-premiere, if you will, or 5th anniversary screening. I've been working with you and the folks in the cleanup crew over at the house that we've been trying to turn into
We've had
the mosque.
Great volunteers.
Yeah, thank goodness for those folks. It would have taken so much longer.
The freedom community here has really turned out more than I could have hoped for. We've had lots and lots of people who have shown up. They've helped scrape walls. They've helped clean up.
And they didn't ask for anything.
Urine and they haven't asked for anything. We
bought them some
offer
dinner,
some pizza. A little bit of pizza.
I gave the trash guy some cash today because he took a lot of time and gas to go out there.
I offered him and he said no, and he said if you insist on giving something, then make a donation to the Welcome Wagon.
Oh, the Free State Project Welcome Wagon?
Yeah, he's like, just make a donation in my name to the Welcome Wagon.
All right,
right. I was like, wow, all right, I'll do that.
Well, I asked him about donations, and he was like, $5, and I gave him a $50 bill because he was back and forth there 4 times. I mean, he
comes all the way from Seacoast.
Yeah, he took 4 loads of garbage out today, and that was all he did today was load up garbage into a truck and take it out there. So yeah, I'm really grateful for all those folks' help. It's been awesome.
And we got more coming tomorrow. Like I said, we're hoping that all the volunteers. There should be like 5 of us working all together just on that one area, that addition where the homeless warming center is going to be. I think 5 people. In 4 hours we can have that place ready to start putting paint and repainting and getting that.
It's exciting. You've been
done first.
You've been vlogging it on the Malik Center page on Facebook. It's spelled MALIC for those that aren't sure. MALIC, Malik Center. What's the full name? What's the full name of the?
It's Masjid Al Latif and Interfaith Community Center.
But if somebody types in Malik, is Malik actually in there too?
Yeah,
MALIC. Okay,
Malik.
good.
That's it's the anagram that came out of it, or acronym, I guess is the word, right? Somebody pointed it out to me when I put the name up because I've had like a couple names that we crowdsourced vote on what we were going to call the center. And that one won. And someone pointed out like, oh, wow, look, if you take all the letters, it spells out Malik. And Malik is another name.
That's one of the schools of thought, right? And,
Maliki is a school of thought, which is a school of thought that I follow. But Malik is an attribute of God, Al-Malik, which means the sovereign.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
so
perfect.
It's the Sovereign Center. And Al-Latif means the gentle, the subtle, the one that does not need force. So
I love it.
Masjid Al-Latif means the place where you come and you pray to the one who doesn't need force, the gentle, the subtle.
That's beautiful.
And
that's perfect.
Yeah, and the fact that Malik means sovereign mixed into all of that, I thought just the whole thing just was so poetic.
All right, we're going to come back with more. You can share your thoughts with us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can also join us on Skype. And again, bring up whatever you want. Skype username here is LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live. Coming up, we can talk Trump at the UN.
Ew, get the stinky dog away from me. Bad breath and bad gas.
Petey stopped eating. All his hair fell out.
Itching, licking, missing fur.
At least $5,000 in vet bill.
Creams, antibiotics, sprays.
No results.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The shedding has stopped and the itching has stopped.
Her coat is not soft, it's silky, it's healthy and shiny and glossy.
She's got life, she's got energy.
Tons of energy, no more bad smells.
Dinovite's the bomb.
Dinovite is the best thing that's ever happened to my dogs, besides me, of course.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free, bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. You've heard about Bitcoin, but you probably don't know the basics. Most people, they might have caught some kind of news article talking about the price of Bitcoin, or maybe one of the major headlines that Bitcoin might have caught, but it doesn't ever explain the basics about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin.com does that. One of the most important things I think people get wrong about Bitcoin, and I heard this just the other day, actually it was Sunday when I was at the Free State Bitcoin shop for the grand opening where we were broadcasting actually from that, and somebody came in there with the same concern that I actually heard a second time the same day. I was at a gas station wearing my new Bitcoin pendant that I got for Bitcoin, of course, at the Bitcoin shop, and it started a conversation with the guy behind the counter where he recognized it. He says, "Hey, Bitcoin, right?" And I said, "Yeah. I said, "Do you have any?" He says, "Oh, I can't afford that." And I said, "No. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin."
Right.
And you can understand why somebody would think that, right? It's an ounce of silver. You got to buy the whole ounce.
Right.
Well, with Bitcoin, you can actually divide it down by 8 decimal points. So you can buy $20, $5, whatever's worth of Bitcoin. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah. Like if you had just a couple of months ago bought like $20 worth of Bitcoin, you'd have
like $40 worth or $30.
40, 60, something like that.
I don't think it's gone up 3 times, but it's gone up quite a bit. In the last year, it certainly has.
Yeah.
More than tripled in the last year. So, that's what I'm trying to say here. People don't really understand the basics. And so if you want to learn about Bitcoin, take some time out because it's worth your while to learn about this thing. That whether or not Bitcoin becomes the world's dominant currency, I mean, it might get replaced by Dash or Ether or one of these other competitors. Who knows?
I don't know. Unless Dash becomes easier to buy. I've been trying to buy Dash for like 3 weeks, and all the websites that I've gone through either want like a massive amount of information, like I don't want to give you this much personal information to purchase it, or like the websites just are not user friendly for a cell phone.
I've never actually tried that because you can get Dash on certain exchanges, and I have a couple of exchange accounts that I can access. So
a lot of the exchanges that I've seen, like they want a lot of personal information.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm not giving that to you.
But that's
honestly,
I want to be able to give you my address and send you, and then you send me, and that's all we know about each other.
I need to get on top of IOTA. That's the one that interests me the most out of all these new cryptocurrencies.
Well, the price is, I think, 58 cents or something like that right now for a million IOTA. You get a million of them.
I just bought a bunch of Bit Plus.
I don't know that one.
It's a new iOS that's being developed right now.
An iOS? What's that?
I think it has something to do with using the cryptocurrencies as a like an actual currency. Like being able to translate it for use in like places like Amazon or.
You're gonna have to show me more about that because I don't know if I'm not sure about what you're saying.
You have to bring the guys that are developing it on. That's what you're gonna do. Because they came to me and they were like, "Hey, we know you're into this kind of thing, and we're looking for investors." And I was like, "Yeah, let me buy in. Let me get in now." And I mean, it wasn't a huge investment on my part, so I mean, I'm not really out a whole lot because
a lot of these things are going to fold up and disappear.
If it tanks, and if it doesn't tank, then I got to be in on the ground with some guys I trust a whole lot.
What was the website? Somebody just told me about this. There's some website that lists all the dead cryptocurrencies, like the dozens and dozens and dozens of
like Fedora coin and stuff like that.
There's a bunch
of
them.
Oh my god!
Kind of gives you a little history.
550 Fedora coins. I don't think there were ever more than like 0.0002 cents or something.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We got, let's see, Ricky on the line. He's in Pennsylvania on Skype. Go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah, Brother Ian, Brother Johnson, it's a pleasure to meet you there. Brother Will, I believe, is it not?
Yes, sir. Howdy.
Right. Go ahead with your thoughts, Ricky.
Ricky there, Brother Will.
Yes, we know.
Well, I got some concerns there, Brother Ian.
Okay, let's hear them. Pick one.
Well,
pick one concern.
I got one. It's called Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania.
Never heard of it.
I just sent you a link on Skype.
Okay.
News story today. You might want to take a peek at it while I'm talking to you. See, this is a perfect example of a jackass, this gentleman right here, and I use that term loosely.
Who?
Yeah, I'm very...
Which gentleman? You got to remember, just because I can see your Skype doesn't mean that our listeners can see your Skype.
Gene Still.
Who's that?
Still. Calls himself an activist, tried to run for office, too, as a Democrat. He's a jackass.
Well, calling somebody names doesn't explain why you feel that way. So why are you, I mean, he may be. You may be right about that, but given that I know nothing whatsoever about this guy, you're going to have to give me some kind of explanation.
Well, okay. Perfect example of that. This guy got the brilliant idea that he's going to Friday, 11 a.m. in the morning, he wants to get a permit so he can burn a Nazi flag and a Confederate flag, just like the one that I wore out today, just like the one I got in my window. And he wants to burn them together because he thinks it's important. He thinks the combination's important. He's a perfect example of a jackass. Point number one, he has the right to burn that Confederate flag because that's an American flag.
He's the right to burn any flag he wants. He can burn any flag he wants as long as he owns it.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Obviously, he don't give a damn about what he's going to be responsible for. It obviously is not responsible.
What's he going to be
for his
responsible for? What are you suggesting?
Well, that battle flag represents freedom and independence. That Nazi flag?
I bet you could ask some slaves, or former slaves, that same question, and they might feel differently about that
I'd like
flag.
to rebut to that, if I may. It depends on what slaves you ask. The slaves before or after 1650.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I agree with that perspective. It's just that a lot of people get certain emotions flowing through them when you talk about flags and them being set on fire.
I mean, and for the patriotic German, at one point, that swastika flag also represented freedom and independence.
Right. Now,
from
Jewish people.
If I may a moment, one of the things I can't talk about on the air is certain aspects of things that I talk about when I'm out and about, just like I did the other day, talking to a young man. And it was a beautiful experience, but the conversation.
I can't imagine anybody having a beautiful experience talking to you. I mean, it's just so hard. I don't know if you're the same way in real life as you are on the phones, but it's so hard to follow. A lot of cases, your calls are very disjointed, very, you're kind of jumping from thought to thought, and they're not necessarily all obviously connected.
It is connected.
Oh, no, I believe that in your mind that everything is very, very connected. But the problem is there's a disconnect between how you think and the words that you speak. A lot of times.
Conversation.
Huh?
This is very important, Ian.
No, it's really not that important. It's just talk radio. Thanks for the call. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. People make the mistake of thinking that, because we're on the radio, it's really important that we should be believed more than anyone else, or that we're experts. No, we're just three guys with microphones here, and we have opinions just like everybody else does.
Speak for yourself. I'm an expert.
On what?
Everything.
All right,
because I have a microphone.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want and take control of the airwaves here. It's Free Talk Live. Coming up, Trump.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available. Comfortable interiors and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
You want to save money in a place that gives you growth, control, and certainty without stock market risk or tax risk, and you want guarantees and you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with properly designed participating whole life insurance. Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But you can have tax-free access to use your life insurance while you're alive. Get the free book to find out how. Call 702-660-7000.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free, you bring up what you want, take control of these airwaves. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we do have Skype, so you can Skype in to join us at Skype username lrn.fm. It's Ian, Will, and Johnson in the studio here tonight. A little bit more about the Malik Center. I made a couple of notes here, and then we'll get into Donald Trump. Johnson's got the story about what he had to say at the UN, and I think it was the Ron Paul Institute.
That's right.
Yeah, with their perspective on things. Of course, you can bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Will Coley is with us for the first time, and what will I hope be many times in our studio here co-hosting with us.
Once we get everything squared away,
Live.
I'll be right up the road, so inshallah.
So talking about the Malik Center, which is the interfaith but Muslim, primarily Muslim mosque that's going to operate full-time in New Hampshire, the very first one ever, and also the other things that it's doing, which is to bring faiths together, which is one of the reasons why I would have been excited if it was just a mosque, because you came and we talked back in, I think it was July.
Yeah.
It all came together pretty fast. You came, you asked about any options. Was there any property available up here? And I said, well, there's actually a piece of property that I think would be perfect for this, and it's right next door to Chris Reitman's store, our Thursday night co-host, which is the Route 101 Local Gifts, which is this real kind of local shop where they only have New Hampshire sort of sourced products, and then they've got the Bitcoin vending machine, and then next to that there's a Vietnamese food truck which also accepts Bitcoin. So it's like this Bitcoin little Bitcoin trifecta or whatever.
Oh yeah, we'll be the first Muslim house of worship in the entire world that funds through Bitcoin. We've raised over $4,000 in cryptocurrencies
since
for
when?
This project.
This one.
Yeah.
So the majority of the funds came from crypto?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, yeah, all kinds of firsts, all kinds of things happening here. I was joking or semi-joking the other day after I saw Judge Burke, who is the same judge that we've recorded for many years here in the courtrooms here in Keene, New Hampshire. He was at the Vietnamese food truck for the first time ever. I happened to be behind it, sitting there, just eating my pho noodle soup, and I noticed Judge Burke, and I was like, that's Judge, that's Ed Burke right there. And so I got
Well, we
up.
hope to see him on opening night.
Yeah, well, no, I got up. I
at the
said hi to
Malek
him.
Center, yeah.
I said hi to him, shook his hand. We caught up.
Come and have some biryani.
I don't hold a grudge. He put me in jail, but I don't hold a grudge against people.
It happens.
So, but what I was saying was, it's like this is the place. This physical location is kind of like the place where activists past and activists future is coming together here, and things have changed in Keene over time. The zeitgeist. I was talking about this at the Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree screening at the Q&A session.
Without being too offensive, I mean, my comedic brain just can't put this one down.
All right.
But if you listen to the mainstream media, you guys wouldn't be the first Muslims to be accepting cryptocurrencies if you were, listen to the mainstream media. They think, everything, all
the
terrorism is funded by cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
According to them. So, that would be the if you're listening only to the mainstream news.
As far as I know,
he's talking about mosques.
Yeah,
yes.
we will be the first one that when you walk out the door, we don't pass a collection plate in a mosque. They don't
Right.
pass a plate. There's just a little bitty slot.
Pass around a cell phone.
Well, there's
With
like
a
little
QR code.
slot, and there's 3 little holes in a wall, and you put your money in, one for zakat, one for sadaqah, and one to pay for the masjid, because they're different. They're different.
Now, what were the first 2 words?
Zakat is the money that you give specifically for the poor. That money can only go for like our Feed the Homeless programs.
Okay.
And stuff like that. That's only allowed for that. We can't change a doorknob with that money.
Okay.
Sadaqah is money that can be used for any kind of charity, including the masjid.
I see.
And then there'll be another slot that's just for the masjid. And each one of those will also have their own corresponding QR code. So we will have a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency zakat account where those cryptocurrencies will only be allowed to be used for assisting the poor.
So, out of curiosity, I know you were mentioning before, the Orthodox Jew, having a kitchen for that. And one of the things I've noticed is a lot of the I guess Middle Eastern religions, if you want to, Semitic religions, have a lot of similarities. And so what I would wonder, I guess a question that springs to mind is zakat anything like tzedakah, I think is what the Orthodox Jewish term is for, they have sort of like a mandatory charity, which is like, giving to the homeless. I'm just wondering if that's the same sort of tenet, or is it very like a similar tenet?
Yes and no. Actually, linguistically, it's very similar. Tzedakah and sadaqah.
Right.
Okay. So the word for charity, but the sadaqah is actually the non-compulsory charity.
Okay.
Whereas in the Jewish tradition, tzedakah is actually compulsory. The zakat, but compulsory in the sense that this is what God wants you to do.
Right.
There's nothing in the traditions that talk about how society should function that describes like an arm of government that's supposed to go and like audit how much money you have and say how much.
Right.
It's always talked about like God knows and and if you cheat, God knows, and you will, in this life or the next, you'll
pay the price.
You will pay the price for being miserly and not. God has given you all this wealth as a test. And when I say all this wealth, like we're talking, you have to have more than $3,000 in the bank account for a 12-month period of time.
And who has to have that?
Me as a Muslim. If I have $3,000 of my own money that sits in a bank account for one full year, I have to give 2.735% of that to the mosque specifically for the purpose of giving it to people who don't have money, who need money to survive, who are hungry, who are poor.
2.735.
Ironically, that same number, that $3,000 number, is actually more than the average American.
Well, it's based on like on metrics based on like silver and gold. So those numbers, because we're using dollars and things like that, those numbers have to be kind of fluctuated because they're based on precious metals values in the 600s. So
weird.
Yeah.
Right.
But like one of the things we want to have Sheikh Joe Bradford. He's the first American imam to get like a master's degree in economics in Medina, and we want to have him come and specifically give a lecture on sadaqah and zakat and cryptocurrency and
That's
how and to teach Muslims, and we're going to be broadcasting this through our YouTube channel,
right,
and teach Muslims about cryptocurrencies and how that wealth of cryptocurrencies figures into their obligations as a Muslim to take care of the poor.
There's no better place than New Hampshire to be doing this. I mean, New Hampshire is the, to lack of a better term, it's the mecca for Bitcoiners. I mean, if you want to come and you want to eat food with your Bitcoin, you can do that here. There's so many people who show up that have never actually ever spent Bitcoin. Like they've bought it, they've held on to it, which is good. You always want to hold on to the Bitcoin that you buy, but it is fun to spend it, and it's important to spend it too because you want it to get out there into the economy. You want people to ask questions, you want them to be curious, to learn about it, and there's really no better location than New Hampshire, and specifically Keene, which is the Bitcoin accepting capital of the entire world. We have more Bitcoin accepting businesses per capita in Keene, New Hampshire than San Francisco, which is the supposed number one most Bitcoin accepting city. Wow. So like Keene is the top. Now Portsmouth is trying to knock us out. So we've got it's Derek and Steven out there. They're going gangbusters with that Bitcoin shop out there. I hope you guys will get a chance to take a trip out with the family and check that place out because
absolutely.
They are doing really good work out there. I mean, it's just you can listen to our Sunday night show. It's basically a 5-day-a-week constant outreach project for Bitcoin because they're just talking to people just randomly walking in, coming into the store, asking all kinds of newbie questions and everything.
Love it.
It's awesome. More coming up here. You can share your thoughts. On the way, our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And this is Free Talk Live. Also, don't forget you can join us on Skype. Skype username is lrn.fm. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
I wish that we would have started the Dynovite right away. It would have been so much easier.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available, comfortable interiors, and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep your essentials protected. You can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to see EMP testing. That's PortableSolarLLC.com. Energy insurance for your family.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can join us toll free. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. Also, don't forget about SaveAtPurse.com. You want to save big time on your purchases at Amazon. You just go to Save at Purse, Save A-T Purse, SaveAtPurse.com. You load up your Amazon wish list into Save at Purse. It then gives you a sliding scale. You select the discount that you want. You want to save 10, 15%? That's super easy to do. You're probably going to have the items that you want ordered for you within the same day. If you want to save, let's say, 20, 25%, it might take a little longer. It might take a day or two. You never know with the higher discounts. 30%, you might be waiting a week. You never really know the higher up you go, but you can get these discounts on Amazon. It's a real thing. SaveAtPurse.com works, and it works well. The catch is you have to use cryptocurrency. If you don't have cryptocurrency, sorry, it's not going to work for you. So this is a great reason to go and get some cryptocurrency, because if you can save 20%, even if you've got to pay like maximum price for the cryptocurrency, let's say you're paying 10% at like a Bitcoin vending machine or something like that. Well, you turn around, you save 20% at Amazon, you're still doing good. So check out all the details over at Save AT Purse, SaveAtPurse.com. Let's go to Mark in Utah. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Mark.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Today I wanted to talk about the Catalonian independence movement. Are you guys familiar with what's been going on this last week?
I have seen pictures of tremendously large protests in the streets of Catalonia, Spain. And they've been, as I understand it, targeting certain mayors in Catalonia. Is that right? Give us an update. What's going on out there?
Yeah, essentially, so the Spanish government has declared that the Catalonian the independence vote that's going to be coming up is non-binding, and that they're not going to respect the outcome of it.
So just to be clear, the Catalonians, which is like, I don't know if you call it a state or whatever, a state of one of the states of Spain, these are provinces or whatever, these are people who want to separate themselves from the Spanish government, and they're going to have a referendum vote, which is just a non-binding referendum. It's just as, test the waters, get a feel for how people are thinking about the idea of secession. And what you're saying is the official government is going over and above their normal amount of promotion to say, hey, this is non-binding, this vote doesn't matter.
Not only that, but any mayor that allows a vote to occur in his city or to use municipal spaces for the referendum, the Prime Minister has basically said that he will arrest any mayor who allows this vote to occur. And so today, there's 948 mayors in Catalonia.
Wow, that's a big place.
Today, 740 of those 948 came out in protest to basically say that they would allow municipal spaces to be used for the referendum, which basically says 700 mayors in Catalonia are saying that they're willing to go to jail for it.
They're willing to. Wow, that's an unusual amount of courage for politicians. Hey, Mark, your phone's not so great today. Thanks for the call. I was able to make out most of what you were saying, but I appreciate hearing from you tonight. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, it's very rare that you'll see a politician actually stand up for anything. Let alone something as radical as the idea of, or at least seemingly radical, as the idea of independence, as the idea of leaving a larger state, which is, of course, what the idea of secession is. And even though the Catalonians they want to secede so they can have a socialist government that redistributes their money in the way that they want it to be redistributed instead of the way the Spanish government wants to redistribute it. So, I mean, I'm not a fan of socialism or anything like that, but I'm a fan of secession, and I really don't care what the movement is about. Like,
let the commies have California.
Yeah, right. Let the commies have California.
Let the gun nuts have Texas.
Let's let the libertarians have New Hampshire, and people should be able to secede.
Let's have the Conch Republic again. Give the Lakota back their land. I mean,
the Conch Republic. That's Key West, right? Yeah. I actually tried to contact those guys once.
Nickajack State.
What's that?
The Nickajack State.
What's that one?
The Nickajack State's where I'm from. And then there's also the state of Franklin. These were efforts to secede from the Union and the Confederacy during the Civil War.
To secede from the Confederacy?
And the Union both. State of Jefferson, yeah. You have different states that attempted to make their own countries during the major secession of the Civil War. Learning about that history was kind of what changed my mind about the Confederacy itself, because I always supported the Confederacy because I support secession movements. But then I found that the Confederacy itself was smashing secession movements within its own borders, that were people that didn't want to be a part of the Confederacy, but they also didn't want to join the Union, and the Confederacy was marching in and putting these areas under military occupation. So, they were they were being exactly what they were fighting against.
Boy, we've seen that happen before.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah, even so far down as to, individual libertarians who have been very, very hypocritical in the things that they do and say. Let's go to Ralph, who is not a libertarian. Ralph is in New Jersey. Ralph, should we create a new rule that actually bans callers who don't listen to the show? Because I heard you don't listen to the show.
How do I listen to you? You're not You're not in any radio market here. You're not in
New Jersey? No, we're actually on in radio markets in New Jersey. We're on WPG out in Atlantic City, for instance.
No, well then I don't live in Atlantic City, and that's far away from me.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
you don't have the internet.
I've been following the situation going on in St. Louis.
How did you find our phone number?
FreeTalkLive.com.
But how did you find that? I mean, how did you do it? Did you search for talk radio or what?
Well, no. Remember, I used to call you when you were still on a radio station, Radio Obama.
Radio Obama?
Remember?
No, right. What is that? What are you talking about?
Bits.
Huh?
It's now called Bits Radio.
Beach Radio or Bitch Radio?
Bits.
Spell it.
Like B-E-A-C-H.
B-E-A-C-H.
Yeah,
beach. Okay.
11. Right. 11,000. Nevertheless, this here we go again with night.
All right, here he goes again with the same old topic. Now, I did say the other day when we banned James Whittakind from the air, for James from Arizona, because he continues to continually call about the same thing over and over again and make threats.
I want to know what James is talking about.
We don't care what James is talking about. He's banned for 4 months. But and we don't ban people lightly here on Free Talk Live. I waited until I had two co-hosts that were basically committing mutiny and refusing to work when James would call in. So I had to. It takes a lot for me to even consider doing this. But in order to be consistent, one of the rules that we put on James in Arizona is that you can't call in incessantly about the same old topic, and it's pretty clear that that's what you do. That's what you do.
In all fairness, this topic keeps coming up again and again and again.
It's because you keep bringing it up again and again and again because you're obsessed with race. You're obsessed with race. You can't stop talking about it.
And Obama is,
And you're obsessed with Obama. He's been gone for 9 months.
No.
Yes, he
I'm
has.
talking about the Asian race. I'm talking about the Asian race. Obama
The
is
Asian race?
what?
The issue
Obama
of race.
is what?
God, I'm
With
so
the
glad
guy
you're
who-
here, Johnson. I can't
I'm
even
talking about the issue of race. Don't you know El Negro Animal? You have to know what I'm talking about.
You are smart.
Virgin Islands, I'm assuming.
No,
Anyway,
actually, it's the
about
Philippines.
St. Louis.
Philippines. Oh, okay.
About St. Louis. Let me say
St.
this
Louis.
about
All right,
St.
it's fair
Louis.
enough. Somebody has been talking
Right.
about St. Louis tonight, even though you didn't listen to the show, so you couldn't possibly have known that. But go ahead.
You know, you cannot dispute the fact that it is a given at black animal, and that
Ridiculous.
What's
Yes, I
happening
can
there-
dispute. Yes, I can
I want to
dispute
know.
that.
Wait a minute. I want to know. Do you have no melanin in your skin? Are you a white man? Are you like whitey white, or are you a brown fella?
Oh, you want to talk about black and
my
white?
God,
What
is-
about that?
I'm just gonna go
Is this
there. I
Uncle
want to know.
Ruckus?
Because I
What
keep
about-
picturing you looking like an actor who I know who was in a TV show. Because your voice is kind of
What
similar.
about no? Answer this question. What do you say now about the murder of those two black individuals in Baton Rouge, Louisiana? What do you say about that?
What do I say about what?
The murder?
The murder of two black individuals in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Murder's terrible.
You're
Right.
going to have to send
Statistically,
the
it's more
story.
likely
Yeah,
where there's-
what be a little more
I don't want to hear
specific.
the rest of it. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Toll-free number
I
here
didn't
tonight.
get the answer to my question, though.
That's
It's
okay.
a mystery that will go unsolved.
He'll call
It'll
back
be
next
burning
week.
forever.
Next time you're on, you'll hear from him again. Don't worry. Just write it down and ask him then. 855-450, free like freedom. Join us on the radio. We got hour number 3 on the way, and you can take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 19th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,308 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,033. Antiwar.com reports accompanied by fighters from South Korea and Japan, U.S. bombers staged a simulated attack on the Pilsung training range just miles from the Korean demilitarized zone, dropping live bombs on the site. The bombers involved were from Guam's Andersen Air Force Base. This is significant not only because the simulated attack run used live bombs, but also because the bombers in question were dispatched from Guam, the base from which an actual U.S. attack on North Korea has long been anticipated to originate. Such a move raises the stakes of a bombing run so close to North Korean soil and doubtless had the nation gearing up for the possibility of a real war starting with retaliatory strikes at the ready, which isn't to say that such shows of force are rare in the area. Far from it. The soaring tensions between the U.S. and North Korea have everyone in the region fearing war at a moment's notice, and major military exercises are seemingly constantly ongoing. While the U.S., Japan, and South Korea are holding this bombing run, Russia and China are also beginning naval exercises in the area, making clear they're present and ready to respond to any sudden wars. Such shows of force tend to build upon one another, with everyone trying to one-up one another on such activity. Such moves necessarily also raise tensions even further and risk precipitating an accidental war. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports President Donald Trump declared a federal emergency in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as Hurricane Maria bore down on the Caribbean on Monday. The declaration makes federal funds available for the U.S. territories, which includes St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John. The action authorizes the Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Emergency Management Agency to coordinate disaster relief efforts. Hurricane Maria is a Category 5 and is threatening the islands less than 2 weeks after Hurricane Irma devastated the area, particularly the U.S. Virgin Islands. Last week, officials said it could take years for the U.S. Virgin Islands to recover from Irma, and it may take months for power to be restored. St. John was among the hardest hit islands in the Caribbean. Residents were boarding up their already damaged houses, and some prepared to evacuate to shelters. Omari Williams, a resident of St. Thomas, told NBC News, "People here are trying to get safe. Officials are encouraging more people to come to public shelters, especially if their home is already compromised." Others were evacuating to Puerto Rico. USA Today reported about half of St. John's 4,500 residents fled the island since Hurricane Irma. On Monday, officials issued a hurricane warning for the U.S. Virgin Islands ahead of Maria's arrival. FEMA dispatched a boat with more than 1 million gallons of water and 111 generators to Puerto Rico, and emergency officials set up 450 shelters. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports St. Louis police are investigating whether some of its officers were chanting, "Whose streets? Our streets!" during protest over the acquittal of a former policeman who shot a man to death in 2011. Several hundred people marched through the streets of St. Louis again on Monday evening, but rallies remained peaceful as intermittent rain appeared to keep some protesters home. More than 120 people were arrested late Sunday when police in riot gear used pepper spray and detained activists who defied orders to disperse following larger peaceful protest. David Carson, a photojournalist from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, tweeted that he and others heard some officers chant, "Whose streets? Our streets!" commandeering a refrain used by the protesters themselves. Video circulating online shows a group of officers and the chant can be heard. Carson said he spoke to a police commander at the scene who said any such chanting would be unacceptable and he would deal with it. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Overburdened with material comforts, America's wealthy can expect another disappointing holiday this year. As Brian Scott tells us, the rich will simply be buying too many things to experience the true meaning of Christmas.
All across the country, those at the top of the economic ladder are denied a privilege that the poorest of the poor take for granted. Rather than fall victim to the rampant consumerism that seems to increase each year, the poor find meaningful joy in simple Christmas traditions, like singing carols to keep warm and hugging relatives who have not yet died. At stores like these, the spiritually bereft must scramble for popular holiday toys in a vain attempt to duplicate the Christmastime happiness that the impoverished enjoy.
Poor people are grateful for
just a roof over their heads or something to eat. My wife and I are both lawyers, so that's not enough for us. Certainly hope poor people don't take what they don't have for granted.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free to bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. We're launching into the third hour of the program. Joining you in our Keene, New Hampshire studio tonight, you've got Ian.
Will.
And Johnson.
So, of course, you can bring up absolutely anything that you want. Take control of these airwaves. We got Will Coley in with us for the very first time from our Keene, New Hampshire studios after a long several days between you and several volunteers who've come out to help clean up the house, which had been hosting people living in it. Is now going to not only have people living in it, but it will also be a mosque. New Hampshire's very first ever full-time mosque, 5 prayers per day. Are there specific times at which you're supposed to pray?
Yeah, there's specific
As a
times.
Muslim?
You have the morning prayer it's called Fajr, which is right around sunup. So it changes throughout the year. So sometimes it's 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
It just depends on the time of the year. And then you have the Dhuhr prayer, which is right around lunchtime.
Okay.
Then you also on Friday you have.
Is it when you're having lunch or when lunchtime typically is? So like noon, or is it just when you're hungry? And
No. It's there's a specific time. It's somewhere around noon.
Okay.
It actually has to do specifically with the placement of shadow.
All right.
And so that it's not high noon, because that's when Zoroastrians would praise the sun and stuff like that.
Okay. And they didn't want to be confused with the Zoroastrians.
Yeah. Then you have the afternoon prayer, Asr, and then you have another prayer around sundown called Maghrib, and then you have the later prayer, which right now I think is around 8:10.
Mm-hmm. What's that one?
Isha. And that's the dark prayer. It's the prayer at night that you do before you go to bed. And then there's superlative prayers besides that, like witr, and you have tahajjud, which is when like you get up in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m., 2 a.m. if you want to. And
if you want to.
Yeah, these are superlative prayers.
Okay.
These are just prayers that are extra, that you get extra
bonus
reward.
points.
Yeah, it's extra reward for and it's also encouraged to pray during the night. That the prayer of the nighttime prayer is heard by God more, because of the fact that like you must be really dedicated to what everybody else is asleep. That's reasonable. Everybody else that's reasonable is asleep, but you are up like seeking God. So God is hearing you because there's no extra chatter there.
I see what you're saying.
You're closer to Him because it's literally the whole world around you is dark, and it's just you and Him. You have nothing else to focus on. It's silence and darkness. So that's.
So you're going to be having at least 5 per day.
Yes,
over
we'll be having we'll be opening up for Fajr first thing in the morning. We'll be flipping the lights on. We won't be doing the call to prayer outside.
And when you say we, you mean you.
Yeah.
Because you do have a wife and kids.
Yeah.
But is she going to be responsible for any of that stuff, or is it pretty much going to be you?
It will be. It will be pretty much me. I mean, she will be helping and kicking me in the butt to make sure that I don't slack.
Yeah, she's helping you plan this whole thing.
Yeah,
she's got a large role.
She's
in this.
Yeah, she's great. Farrah, you're awesome. I know you're not listening, but that makes it all the more better that I'm saying this, because
she's taking care of the kids right now.
Yeah, she's taking care of the kids right now. Yeah.
So the Malik Center is being constructed. Sort of, there's a lot of fixes that need to be done to this house, cleaning out, and that's all what we're in the middle of, and that's why I've been absent from the show.
We are finally ready, though, to start doing a lot of that part of it. The cleaning, at least the worst of it is
we're broom clean.
done.
We're broom clean at this point, I would say.
Yeah. Now we go around with a bucket of bleach and just bleach every square inch and then paint over that.
Yeah, exactly. So there's still a lot to be done, and we haven't yet mentioned, we need to, how listeners out there can help out with this, because you're raising money. You're at like 50-60% of your goal of $11,000. There's like a Muslim
fundraising
crowdfunding site.
Yeah,
Crowdfunding, that's the word.
It's like GoFundMe, but it's a Muslim-run site. And
called Launch Good.
They've been so awesome. Like, they've actually gone, they really believe in the project that we're doing as well.
Yeah.
And they've extended our deadline because we were supposed to end this fundraising project like September the 4th. And they have gone out of their way and they extended it. And then they were like, look, we'll give you the ability to extend it yourself. And I didn't do it right. And so when I tried to extend it, I didn't do it properly and it didn't save. So it ended again. And she sends me an email and she's like, I told you to do it like this, silly. But I did it for you. So don't worry. You're rocking and rolling again. We really want to see you, hit your goal so this project can be fully funded and rocking.
And this is phase one of what is a long-term plan that you guys have.
We have with 3 to 5 year plan, I guess you could say, to get the community to where we are happy with what we have. We have 2 expansion projects, plus playground and community garden and stuff like that we have.
Chickens, you got
chickens, and we want to raise chickens so that we can have eggs to feed the homeless. I mean, literally, like, we want to put the work into raising chickens so that we can have eggs to feed the homeless. We want to put the work into clearing all that area next to the north side of the house so that we can put a community garden there so that, if the neighbors want a tomato, just come over and come inside of the community center and be like, hey, we were having a barbecue. We wondered if we could grab some tomatoes.
Move the community garden that's here.
Please come get it. Please come get it. And whatever you don't use, whatever's not being used, trust me, it's not just going to stay there and be wasted. We will take it down and find a way to feed it to the community.
Awesome.
We want to do lessons and dinners every Saturday where we invite a speaker of some faith. It may be Rabbi Reuven Firestone or it may be Imam Zaid Shaker. You don't know who it's going to be. It could be Karen Armstrong if I could ever be lucky enough to get her to come. But we're going to have some speaker from one of the from a religious tradition come and teach a lesson. And when that's over, we're going to have free food. Like Arab food, Indian food, and that's kind of what we want to.
And you'll be streaming it, as you mentioned earlier. You're going to get a webcam set up, and so anybody who's not in the area who can't make it out, or maybe somebody who's physically unable to make it out, will be able to enjoy and learn from those speakers via
We'd really like
web
it to be interactive too. Like, have a chat area where, if you're stuck at home, if you're a shut-in who physically can't come out, or say there's 3 feet of snow on the ground, and you physically couldn't come. Well, I want you to still be able to ask the speaker.
I'm just amused because when you said shut in, it sounded like you were saying something like in, Arabic.
No.
It just sounded like an Arabic word to me, the way you said it.
I see what you're saying.
Shut in.
Yeah, I get you. So if you want to join us here, you can. Where can folks go to donate? What's the URL?
You can go to launchgood.com/Malik Center. So that's MALICCENTER. And that's launchgood.com. That's the same website. They've done a lot of really great projects.
Now, you said you raised a bulk of the funding through Bitcoin, but they're not a Bitcoin processor, right?
No, we've been raising Bitcoin personally. One of those, we got a really sizable Bitcoin donation from Pakistan.
Wow.
Yeah, a brother in Pakistan was like, I really believe in this interfaith idea and intrafaith. So, like, we're saying, like, you have a box in here full of books from a Shia imam that's a good friend of mine, because we want our Shia brothers to come and pray in the mosque with us. We want our Sufi brothers, like, there's
It'd be
not
nice to see some bridges built there.
Because there's not enough of any one of our communities to open this mosque and run it on our own.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who don't like Muslims who live in the U.S., they don't see any of these like divisions that we see amongst ourselves. So like, if you want to come pray in the masjid, just come pray in the masjid. If you want a reed mat to do it on, I've got one for you. If you don't, and if you're Sunni, then just come pray in the masjid. That's what it's for. It's a house. It's the house of Allah. To me, it's not the Christian's house. It's not the Jew's house. It's not the Sunni's house. It's not the Shia's house. It's not my house. It's the house of God. It's a place for people to come and get in touch with the divine, either through charity or through worship. And that's what we want to be known as. We want to set that as kind of our standard from day one.
I'm excited to be a part of it with the Shire Free Church, helping out and donating the property for this purpose. We'll continue. You can share your thoughts. Check out launchgood.com/Malik Center, MALICCENTER. And of course, they're also on Facebook posting updates and videos about how things have been going. More coming up here. Free Talk Live.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
If you want to promote your business, organization, website, or club, radio's a great way to reach a lot of people. And because the ads are low cost, you can reach them a lot more often. Repetition builds reputation, and ads with audio are just more convincing than print or digital. If you need local people, please contact this station. If you can sell nationally, I'd love to help. Free Talk Live is nationally syndicated on more than 170 radio stations, and we have a large and loyal podcast audience. Check out our packages at advertise.freetalklive.com. If you need something custom, contact me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
The easiest thing in the world for a reader to do is to stop reading, according to the late, great Barney Kilgore, who became managing editor of the Wall Street Journal in 1941 and grew the paper's circulation from 33,000 to 1 million by the 60s. And he'd be pleased to know that his paper is one of the few that people now pay to read online. Someone else pre-internet who realized that attention is fragile? Motown Records founder Berry Gordy. In the early 60s, when his label dominated the charts, he'd bring a dozen real people into the Hitsville, USA studios and audition songs. And he'd ask, if you were down to your last dollar, would you spend it on this record or would you buy a sandwich? Today, attention span seems like an oxymoron. For tips on cutting through the clutter, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free if you want to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight in the studio, you've got Ian,
Will,
and Johnson.
And you can join us online. Just head on over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features that we have waiting for you on our website. In fact, one of those features is our web forum. You can go and get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners. Just go to forum.freetalklive.com. It's relatively new. It's pretty modern. It's pretty cool. I really like the new forum software, and it's giving our listeners a chance to connect somewhere besides the the corporate internet, the Facebooks of the world. Now we do still have our AMP only Facebook group, which is actually a pretty decent group, but the forums are great because anybody can join. You don't have to be a Free Talk Live amplifier. Just as long as you're a Free Talk Live listener, you can go to forum.freetalklive.com. That's forum.freetalklive.com. Let's go back to your phone calls and thoughts here. We got Zach in Ithaca, New York. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Will, and Johnson.
Good evening. Right now, airing on A&E is Scientology: The Aftermath, featuring Leah Remini. And tonight's episode
Isn't Leah, sorry to interrupt, isn't Leah Remini somebody who escaped from Scientology?
Well, she left. She was never in the Sea Org. She never had to actually physically escape. She just left.
She was never in a what?
The Sea Org is like the papacy within the she didn't have to physically leave. She didn't have to escape. But tonight's episode is focusing on Scientology and their association with celebrity, which is a recruiting tool, a financial boon to them. They get huge amounts of money from celebrity Scientologists. But the question I wanted to bring up is, like, what is the nature of celebrity? Because to me, it reminds me of that definition of pornography. Like, I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. But they are obsessed with having individuals who are famous because it not only bolsters them financially, but it's like, oh, we have Tom Cruise. Is the perfect example.
And then
and
Vinnie Barbarino. John Travolta. That's
who they have blackmailed into staying in the church based on his homosexuality. I don't know if you knew about that.
No, I hadn't.
Have you seen Going Clear on HBO?
No, we talked about it when that came out, but I've never actually seen it. I downloaded it at one time, but the FBI raided the studios, and that went away with
How did that whole child pornography thing end up shaking out?
No, it hasn't shaken out. Nobody's been charged with anything. They've got 50-something devices that they took back in March of 2016, and now we are approximately 18 months away from that time.
Maybe it was the Scientologists. They were angry at you. They set you up, man. Anyway.
The Scientologists sicked the FBI on us. Okay, that's a new theory.
It wouldn't be the craziest thing they've ever done. But my question to you is, what defines celebrity? Why are these individuals so significant in our society? It reminds me of this documentary.
I think the more important question is, why are you such a suppressive person?
Is that a Scientology reference?
My older sister was mean to me when I was young. But in the Faces documentary, the point is made that before all of this mass media,
will destroy
you probably knew maybe 150 to 200 people. In your whole life, you would see 150 to 200 faces. Yet with the advent of mass media and celebrity, 150 to 200 celebrities. These people, you'd recognize them if you walked by them on the street.
Well, you know who they are, but you don't know them. I mean, you know that what they look like, but you don't know the person.
An outsized representation in the mass psyche because they have been propelled into this. They're up on these pillars.
I went and I looked it up, but the word I would have used actually is in definition number 2. I would have used the word renown. Somebody who has renown. Somebody who people know that person for whatever reason. As you say, they would recognize them if they saw them. That is some level of celebrity, and the more renown they have, the more, I guess, of a celebrity that they are.
Do you think who we renown is a reflection of the culture? Like, I literally had a conversation like 2 weeks ago about like the difference in when, like in the African American community, the hero was W.E.B. Du Bois or Marcus Garvey or these gigantic figures who they dealt with racism that makes the stuff we see today like nothing. And they were these huge, gigantic figures. And when they were these figures, you had the Harlem Renaissance, you had the cultural and economic renaissance among African Americans in St. Louis and in Kansas City and in Oklahoma City. Like, you had these huge explosions of economic mobility and all of these things. And now you have the exact opposite. But what you find is that, like, the people who are renowned are like Lil Wayne. You know, so it's like the difference in like the people and
the quality.
Yeah.
The quality.
And the same thing is like in every other community, like these people that used to be these giants, these great men who were renowned. And now, like, who does the Caucasian community renowned? It's like
Justin Bieber.
Yeah. Britney Spears, Justin Bieber.
Mama
you know, it's
June.
Who?
Mama June from, well, she was, the
What's
little
happening?
Honey Boo Boo Child mama.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that show, so I don't know anything about it.
I agree completely, because people used to be renowned because they discovered radium or, they invented electricity. Nowadays, you're famous because you made a fool of yourself on the internet or for any petty reason. So the concept of, they call it the cone of celebrity. It's ever expanding. There's more and more celebrities, more and more famous people, but they're famous for no reason. And it's I don't have an answer. It's just I find it
when you say they're
fascinating,
famous
like,
for no reason, can you give me an example of that?
Well, Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, like Kim Kardashian or Honey Boo
Leave
Boo.
Britney alone. Some
Chris Crocker.
cross-dressing guy.
But wait a minute, you don't know the person's name.
But everybody knows his face. It's like it's
Leave
all over
Britney
TV.
alone.
It's
Chris
synonymous
Crocker. I know
with
his
the
name.
the internet.
Don't tase me, bro. That guy is famous.
But you don't know. You wouldn't know him if you saw him. The line is famous, but you don't know the guy.
He works for Mike Cernovich now. He's one of his.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Rebecca
Black.
For real.
Okay, Rebecca Black, she's famous. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but that whole
people
ain't
know who
nobody
she is. You can recognize her. The guy with the don't tase me, bro.
Especially on Friday.
How about that?
What
That chick.
That chick, yeah. I don't know her name though. Danielle something?
Danielle Bergoli.
Yeah, but she's like got a rap career now.
I'm really embarrassed that I can remember all these names and I can't remember certain other things.
For real, yo.
I know my memes.
Yo, Vicky.
Well, okay, now you're talking about sort of crossing over from traditional fame, from being like a Hollywood superstar, or a stage actor or whatever, into this newer sort of internet fame, the 21st century fame.
Why aren't these Scientologists targeting the YouTube stars? What's wrong? I mean,
they've become millionaires, or they've become like Hollywood stars. You know, like the How About That? That girl is now has a rap album out and music videos. And she was picked up like a real record label.
Despicable.
Thought that she was worthwhile because of the fact that her being like
she's got the renown.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
got that. Yeah, she's got that.
For nothing at all except for being
but your
an idiot.
typical meme star doesn't get that renown. They exist, they go away, and memes have kind of a short lifespan. Most of them do. There are some that live on. More coming up here. Zach, thanks for the call tonight, for the discussion. I appreciate it. This is Free Talk Live.
You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Not true. Actually, you are what you can absorb. So if the vitamins and supplements you now take are not being absorbed, what good are they? Introducing Protovite, proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com. Then call 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs light wet wood, can even burn on water or in any weather, sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils water in under 3 minutes. Temps up to 1,500 degrees. Free shipping on anything. Go to instafire.com/radio specials and get yours today. InstaFire. Fire in an instant. Instafire.com/radio specials.
Free Talk Live.
You guys are just penguins. You're lemmings.
I'm a penguin. I'm a lemming.
Walking off the. Do you know what a lemming is?
Yeah, well, it's a little rodent that people claim jump off of cliffs.
It's not a rodent. It's a penguin, and you just walk
a
off.
Lemming is a penguin.
That's a new one.
They're penguin
Yeah, it is.
I'll check it out.
Penguin, dude.
No, it's
and
not.
You just walk
It's a little
off the
rodent.
cliff. You're rigged. It's rigged.
Hold on, Mark is correct. A lemming, according to Wikipedia, is a small rodent. It is found usually near the Arctic, Together with the voles and muskrats, they make up the subfamily.
She was really just confused. It doesn't make a difference. So what? It's
They're related to rats, mice, hamsters, and gerbils.
But they do jump
not
off
penguins.
But they do jump off cliffs, don't they?
No, they don't. They don't jump off cliffs. It's an analogy.
Oh my God, you didn't live. You guys are too young.
Beverly, you turned my world upside down. Lemmings don't jump off cliffs?
Man,
They do in the video game. Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you dial toll-free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and our Skype username is LRN.FM. In the studio tonight, it's Ian here.
Will.
And Johnson.
Of course, you can bring up whatever you want. We're going to go back to the phones and your calls and thoughts. Don't forget to leave us a review and a rating on iTunes or whatever other platform you might happen to be downloading our podcast on, if you're a podcast listener. We'd appreciate that. We haven't asked for that kind of thing in quite a long time, and maybe we should have been because other shows do it, and it's probably a smart thing to do. So if you are listening to us on one of those platforms like iTunes, then take a moment to leave us a rating, whether it's stars or numbers or however it is that they do the ratings. And then if you feel so inclined, write us a little review that hopefully will be very, very nice and enticing, so other people will see us and possibly try listening to the show and hear some of the ideas of freedom and liberty and peace. And we're going to continue here, so we appreciate it when you do that. Thank you. Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes. I learned that you could actually save your mental energies by doing things in like routine manner. Like, for example, putting the keys in the same place, or
turning the doorknob 3 times.
Well,
turning the
it
lock,
saves the energy for the times that
I thought it was the bed.
we have to use our energy. Like at an intersection, we have to analyze people turning right, turning a left, going forward. When you have
Wait a minute. You're talking about as a pedestrian or a driver, or both?
For anybody.
Okay.
It uses a part of the analytical part of the brain where it actually fires up more energy than as the routine part of the brain. It uses the subconscious part of the brain. the unconscious. So the more
live.
you, well, I don't know exactly
That's a
what
Scientology
location.
joke.
I'm not a brain surgeon. I wish I knew exactly what part of the brain.
You know what? There's this cool thing called the internet where you can like totally go and find out stuff about how the brain works. Did you know that, Sarah?
No, I'm not a.
It's
I'm not
really
a brain
cool. You ought to
expert, so
try
I
it
would not
out. It's
know.
been around for like 20, 30 years.
Well,
It wasn't invented
if you
by
have
Al
that
Gore.
kind of interest. But what I'm saying is that
Wait, so you don't have an interest in the internet, but you want to learn stuff?
Well, I mean, I'm interested in always the workings of the mind, but
Yeah.
I'm
Me
not
too.
a computer person.
Oh, I see.
The,
What would it mean to be a computer
Have
person?
you thought about studying psychology?
She wants to study a real mind, not an artificial one.
well, you know what? I always study psychology all the time because I have mental illness. You know what I mean? I have psychological problems.
So it's a self-study is what
it's
you're saying.
an ongoing hobby.
Now, what about Scientology?
I don't know, but
Do you know what that is,
Have you
Sarah?
considered studying Scientology? They can make you famous.
That might be something she'd be interested in.
I don't think that they're all that bad as people make it out to be.
Okay, so you
really.
have
I
heard
think
of
they're
it.
being attacked. But
Do
I've
you
never,
think you could have a career in Hollywood?
No, I don't think I could have.
I'm making a
but
case
what
for
I'm
you
trying
here.
to- Look, I'm trying
She's
to make
too
a
humble,
point.
Johnson. She doesn't want that. She just wants to call talk radio and talk about important things to her. And I think it's great. I got to say, as far as our chronic callers go, I think Sarah's the best chronic caller. I think she's the current best. She's better than Ralph. She talks about something new pretty much nightly. She'll
I'm just
circle
imagining,
around at the same time.
I'm imagining Sarah getting in close with the Scientology, the Church of Scientology.
She'd be their spokesman.
Getting in close. No. They would make her famous. She'd become a big movie star. And then she'd do one of those PSAs like a couple of years from now after she's made it big, rich and famous. She'd be a millionaire, right? She's had a big movie career. And then she does one of those PSAs, right? That they always have the Hollywood actors do PSAs. But she would be able to do a PSA for like, don't drink and drive. Don't,
Don't
everybody
drive
should
at all.
carpool. Don't drive at all. Take the bus. And, I feel like she'd achieve some lifelong goals and that possibly her path to this, she just needs to go and,
do whatever
clear
they
out
say.
the thetans.
Yeah, just do whatever
Clear
they
out
say.
the thetans.
Pay all the money.
She needs to go get audited.
Demons.
She needs to go get audited, exercise them thetans out of her body, and get an acting career.
What do you think about that, Sarah? You want to try to take a new turn into Scientology?
Well, you know what? I did study with the Scientology a little bit. I think they make a lot of good sense, but I call it.
It seems like it would fit in. Hold on. It seems like it would fit in with your Hare Krishna thing, where you have claimed that the Hare. And I don't know if this is true, but Sarah has called, because I'm going to check this. We've checked some of Sarah's claims, and sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not. But she claims the Hare Krishnas believe that there are people living on the moon in cities. And so if you're into like outer space, sci-fi kind of theories like that, then or religions that have those, then Scientology is perfect, because isn't it true, Johnson, that at some level of Scientology, that, or at least it's alleged that at some level of Scientology, once you pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you have to pay every time you want to advance in Scientology, that they will then tell you the real truth. Right. From their perspective, and that is that there is an alien. Hold on, that is that there's an alien called Xenu, who apparently, like, I don't know, created the Earth or something like that. What's
something?
Do you know?
There's like B-52 bombers that are spaceships that, sent these, alien ghost spirits into the volcanoes.
It sounds like something you'd read in a sci-fi novel,
an LRH novel, in fact. Written by L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, who was the founder of Scientology.
And was also a sci-fi writer, yeah.
That's right.
Who also had the quote in the past that said, if you want to become rich, invent your own religion.
Did he actually say that?
Oh, yeah, supposedly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. Donald Trump.
Actually, I was just thinking, before we go on to that, if you want to get rich, invent your own religion, I just installed iOS 11 today.
Oh, are you saying that Apple is like a cult?
Yeah, Apple has become a religion. They have they have an inferior product and a superior marketing scheme, and now everyone wants.
I can't wait to get my iOS or my iPhone 10.
For real, yeah. People
you
pay
really? Isn't that
$1,000 for a phone that they could have bought 3 years ago.
But you really do want to buy $1,000 phone?
I really do want to buy a $1,000 phone.
Which one do you have right now? You've got an iPhone right now.
I've got one that's because I've got one that's several generations old.
How many?
It's the 6, so it's 3 generations or 4 generations.
4 generations. Okay,
they suck. Yeah. They suck. My wife's got an Apple phone, and like my Android phone, the Google Map, like her Google Maps will just shut off randomly.
Oh no.
What? Yeah. It would be just driving down the road and all of a sudden Google Maps will just stop. Her Pandora, like on mine, I can change the stuff in the shuffle to different. And on hers, there's no option at all to do any of that on the Apple.
It's just like a dumbed down version.
Yeah, it's like every single program on her phone is like a dumbed down version of what I can get on my Android phone.
It's
like It's like 2000 and.
I don't have any of those
model
issues, but also
for the
I wonder if she's
Android, and they're like,
actually
"Oh, this is the greatest thing ever! It's so revolutionary." And it's like, no, bro, I could get that in 2014 with the Android phone.
What's weird is that's contradictory to what you're saying. What you're saying is contradictory to what's like commonly known, which is that most of the apps that are released, they release them first for iOS because they charge money. They actually, like Android versions, you'll get apps for free. So developers primarily develop for iOS because they make more money on iOS.
And the apps still end up being better on the Android, though. They end up with better on mine. With my phone and my wife's phone, it is.
I know people that have said, and they've made the specific argument that it's actually even people who have Google specific. Like I'm one of these people. I use Google everything for my products. I use Google Maps, Google Mail,
except
Google
the phone.
Everything except the phone, because the experience for Google products is better on iOS.
Really?
Yeah, and it's commonly known. It's like a common thing. And if you actually want a more open phone, if you jailbreak an iPhone, you've got more options.
But I can.
I don't do that. But
I can root my Android phone. Are you telling me I'll get more options from a jailbreak than from a root?
Yes.
Like what can you do with a jailbreak that you can't do on
There's
root?
a lot more different software. There's just things that are available that are not necessarily available in the Android.
You'll have to tell me that off the air. All right, more coming up here in moments. Your thoughts, your calls, they're welcome in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live, which are on the way. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live. Join us here.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here. You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey.
Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is.
You ain't gonna make.
Wait
on the counter.
now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
You
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
All right. Free Talk Live. Join us here. Bring up anything you want in the remaining moments. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. It's Ian, Will, and Johnson in the studio tonight. We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts. Don't forget, though, you can sign up for the Free Talk Live email list over at freetalklive.com. It's right there, top of the page, front page of the site. You just put your email address in there, and we'll send you an email update, usually on a once-a-week basis to keep you in the loop with the latest on Free Talk Live. Let's go to your phone calls and thoughts, though. Tom is in Baltimore, and you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
Hey, guys. I wanted to ask your guest. He seems awful tolerant, at least as far as what we've been shown through various media outlets as what a believer of Islam is like. Is that atypical?
Actually, I'm modeling the Malik Center after a mosque in Knoxville that I was attending before I came here, and the mosque that I took my Shahada in Ocala, Florida. They're both centers that are very similar to what we're trying to put together here. And I wanted to model, because I have a lot of respect for the people who run those centers, and I wanted to model our effort after theirs because of how massively successful they are. I mean, the one in Knoxville, you have Celebrate Mercy, which is known for their efforts to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair the Jewish cemetery earlier this year. They raised money for San Bernardino victims after the terrorist attack in San Bernardino. They raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for people that were in the Pulse attack. That all started in Knoxville. You have the Fastathon, which is like a Muslim outreach that's in basically every college in the U.S. And it started at UT. It came from Knoxville, where I come from. Muslims for Liberty.
So is that like a separate denomination?
No, it's just a town that I lived in, and we just happened to have this really great. We just happen to have this really great mosque there that is run in a very decentralized manner, where you have these really great scholars and imams and sheikhs that live there, but none of them has a desire to be in control, so to speak, and to be like an autocrat, so to, in the community. And because of that freedom, and they base that on their study. I mean, all of these guys have spent years and years. Sheikh Hassan has a PhD in Arabic language. He's been given all of these different commendations in Fez, Morocco, to teach Islamic jurisprudence. He has a degree in comparative Islamic jurisprudence. So he studied all 4 schools, and they run their mosque the way that I want our community here to be run. And that's why it is the way it is because I have great teachers and men who I've had the opportunity for the last 7 years to observe running a community in the way that I want this community to be run.
So let me
Does Sharia law play a role at all?
Let me answer to you.
Absolutely.
I want to give you an answer from the perspective of somebody who, as an atheist, I kind of just generally have this, long-held despise for all religion. And
I know it's got to be hard for you to sit here and
no. I mean, what I can say very, very easily on this is that while there are huge groups of Christians, there are huge groups of Jews, there are huge groups of every religion that have these intolerant people in them. But what you have to remember is while there are 7-8 billion people on the planet, 1.8 billion people are Muslims. So you're going to have a whole lot of different types of Muslims in the world. So you can't just, what the media may be showing, maybe there may be a large amount of Muslims, especially over in the Arabic world, who will stone someone to death, or find out you're atheist and they will kill you to death and to little bloody pieces. But that's not everyone, because they are 1.8 billion people. There are just as many, intolerant Christians.
Sure.
And, you have to remember that when you talk about numbers that large, there are more English-speaking Indians in India than there are English-speaking people in America. There are more English-speaking people in China than there are Americans.
There are more Muslims in India than there are anywhere else in the world, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
India has more
How do you
Muslims
see
than
the
anyone
Sharia law issue playing out in the long run over here? Because aren't there certain things that would not be allowed by U.S. law as it stands currently?
Well, basically, when people talk about Sharia here in the U.S., they're talking about Sharia governs how I give charity. When I talk about the number I gave earlier, that is the number that is prescribed by Sharia for me to give in charity. When I pray,
but only for you because you're a Muslim.
Exactly, it doesn't
Sharia
apply
law
to
doesn't
you.
apply to other people.
Yeah, and that's something that, again, that's established jurisprudence. So if you've got a Muslim who's trying to tell you you're Christian and you're my neighbor, so you're not allowed to drink because I don't drink, I would just ask them to sit down and have a discussion with you about Al-Hasan al-Basri, who, this guy's one of the most renowned Islamic scholars in the world. He was a guy who Abdulaziz, the king, was contacting and asking questions about how he should treat non-Muslims. And he was straight up look, these people have their own way, and the way they do things isn't our way. It's none of your business. And you don't get to change things so that you can target them because you don't like it. The Prophet left these people to do their own thing, to be Christian, to drink alcohol, to eat pork, to marry their sisters at the time was a normal thing, to inbreed and things. These were things that the Muslims said you're not allowed to do. And the king didn't like it. And the greatest scholar of his day said, well, that's tough luck, dude. Does it matter?
What if a family member, though, like your sister, what if she said, listen, I don't believe this, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and it didn't comply with the Sharia?
What you're asking is, what if a family member who grew up Muslim wanted to leave the religion?
Well, if a sister, if he has a sister, say, and if he doesn't, just say that he did, would that be how would that work out? Would
I
that
recollect in my level of study, which is nowhere near yours. I've read the Quran and I've done some studying on Islam. It's my recollection that if somebody wants to leave and not be a Muslim anymore, that they aren't persecuted in any way.
Well, they're not supposed to be. This even goes back to Ibn Taymiyyah. And the reason why Ibn Taymiyyah is important is because most of your more hardcore people who would advocate that you use force or violence against someone who left Islam, even their favorite scholar said, well, slow down. Apostasy is broken into 3 categories. You've got those who leave Islam and they want to remain the same. Like say me and you were friends. You were Muslim. You're not Muslim anymore, but you want to maintain all of those positive relationships.
Mm.
Cool. awesome, let's do that. Or if you're Muslim and you're like, look, I don't want to be Muslim anymore. I just don't want anything to do with you guys. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to be enemies with you. I just want to be left alone. I'm neutral. I have no opinion on you. I just don't want to be a part of you. Then cool, do that. But the last group, these are people who they
lash out.
Well, yeah, they're not only do they not want to be Muslim, but they want to join in efforts to prevent Muslims from being able to observe their freedoms or to physically attack the Muslim community. So like treason in some cases, like you're like, I'm not going to be Muslim anymore, and I'm going to go join the people who are trying to harm Muslims. Those people, if they are committing acts of violence, you have the right to fight those people, and if necessary, to defend yourself, kill those people.
In defense.
Those are the only people that the way that it's the wording in Ibn Taymiyyah, a way is opened to you. So that means that in all other instances, that way is closed. You don't have the option of using violence or intimidation against these people. But that doesn't mean people don't do that, because people are people and they're different,
suck, and they don't understand or they have different interpretations.
I knew lots of people that sucked before I became Muslim, and you know what? Since I've became Muslim, I've met a few Muslims who suck. Because people suck. That's just the way things are, unfortunately.
Go ahead, Tom. Quick question.
Do you think more Muslims worldwide are as tolerant and as decent as you, or do you think it's more the opposite?
Well, I think it just depends on the topic and the region. I mean, that's a really broad question. I know Muslim libertarians in Nigeria. All the scholars that I've learned from either come from overseas or learned from other scholars overseas. So, I mean, you have to, that question's really broad. Do I think that most scholars of Islam who are recognized scholars agree with what I say and teach? Yes, because I've talked to them and asked them if it's correct, and they've told me so. Do I think most laymen agree with me? No, I don't. And I'm okay with that, because if the layman disagrees with me, that's fine. The academics, the people who have spent 30 and 40 years of their life studying the subject, they do agree with me. And to me, that's what's important.
We are out of time, but it's been great having you on, Will Coley and Ian Johnson here on Free Talk Live. We'll see you tomorrow night online in the meantime at freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. Coincap.io. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 19th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,308 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,033. Antiwar.com reports accompanied by fighters from South Korea and Japan, U.S. bombers staged a simulated attack on the Pilsung training range just miles from the Korean demilitarized zone, dropping live bombs on the site. The bombers involved were from Guam's Andersen Air Force Base. This is significant not only because the simulated attack run used live bombs, but also because the bombers in question were dispatched from Guam, the base from which an actual U.S. attack on North Korea has long been anticipated to originate. Such a move raises the stakes of a bombing run so close to North Korean soil and doubtless had the nation gearing up for the possibility of a real war starting, with retaliatory strikes at the ready, which isn't to say that such shows of force are rare in the area. Far from it. The soaring tensions between the U.S. and North Korea have everyone in the region fearing war at a moment's notice, and major military exercises are seemingly constantly ongoing. While the U.S., Japan, and South Korea are holding this bombing run, Russia and China are also beginning naval exercises in the area, making clear they're present and ready to respond to any sudden wars. Such shows of force tend to build upon one another, with everyone trying to one-up one another on such activity. Such moves necessarily also raise tensions even further and risk precipitating an accidental war. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports President Donald Trump declared a federal emergency in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as Hurricane Maria bore down on the Caribbean on Monday. The declaration makes federal funds available for the U.S. territories, which includes St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John. The action authorizes the Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Emergency Management Agency to coordinate disaster relief efforts. Hurricane Maria is a Category 5 and is threatening the islands less than 2 weeks after Hurricane Irma devastated the area, particularly the U.S. Virgin Islands. Last week, officials said it could take years for the U.S. Virgin Islands to recover from Irma, and it may take months for power to be restored. St. John was among the hardest hit islands in the Caribbean. Residents were boarding up their already damaged houses, and some prepared to evacuate to shelters. Omari Williams, a resident of St. Thomas, told NBC News, "People here are trying to get safe. Officials are encouraging more people to come to public shelters, especially if their home is already compromised." Others were evacuating to Puerto Rico. USA Today reported about half of St. John's 4,500 residents fled the island since Hurricane Irma. On Monday, officials issued a hurricane warning for the U.S. Virgin Islands ahead of Maria's arrival. FEMA dispatched a boat with more than 1 million gallons of water and 111 generators to Puerto Rico, and emergency officials set up 450 shelters. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports St. Louis police are investigating whether some of its officers were chanting, "Whose streets? Our streets!" during protest over the acquittal of a former policeman who shot a man to death in 2011. Several hundred people marched through the streets of St. Louis again on Monday evening, but rallies remained peaceful as intermittent rain appeared to keep some protesters home. More than 120 people were arrested late Sunday when police in riot gear used pepper spray and detained activists who defied orders to disperse following larger peaceful protest. David Carson, a photojournalist from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, tweeted that he and others heard some officers chant, "Whose streets? Our streets!" commandeering a refrain used by the protesters themselves. Video circulating online shows a group of officers and the chant can be heard. Carson said he spoke to a police commander at the scene who said any such chanting would be unacceptable and he would deal with it. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
We've made significant progress wiring the nation's schools for the internet, but we have to do more. Every child in America should have an internet-capable computer in their bedroom at home, preferably with a high-resolution webcam. I have been to children's chat rooms and have been shocked and disappointed to find they are frequently empty. Even when these youngsters do manage to find their way online, they lack the skills to do something as simple as pinpoint their location on Google Maps. I long for the day when someone can log onto the Nickelodeon Under 13 chat room and type, "Hey, any kids in here like to play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? I have a Nintendo at my house," and be overwhelmed with instant messages. Then I'll know we're doing our job supporting technology in this country.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now,
I'm going to read all the bio.
live
All right, here we go.
from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here, and declare your independence. Me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, AA, from the BEAUT full studios of Freedoms with an S, FreedomsPhoenix.com. Oh, it's the best I can do. Is up all night. Oh, preparing for the Nexus Earth Conference. Got another speaker, a presenter is going to be with us here in just a little bit. In the second hour, we got Jim Briscoe. He's the CEO of Liberty Star Uranium and Metals Corp. in southern Arizona. They're trying to do some mining. They're going to get some uranium or something. And the man is not letting them. They've been trying, and they're wanting to talk. They want to show. They're going to expose and reveal. So I'm all right, man. Let's do it up. In the third hour, Kathy Inman. You know her from she was Arizona Normal, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, and she kind of went on her own. She's been, momforceaz.org, and she's been lobbying. She's working hard behind the scenes and doing. We're going to see how it goes, and if we're giving away something for it, you know what I mean? So we're going to find out. Robert Anthony Peters. He's completed his Bachelor of Science at University of Arizona in Marketing and Entrepreneurship, was a Charles G. Koch Summer Fellow in D.C., and trained at the Lee Strasberg Theater Institute in New York City. He's a SAG member, and he's been acting, producing, directing professionally in theater, film, voiceover, and he wants to use all his skills in advocating for libertarianism. We'll see what he learned in, Charles Koch scholarship. We're going to find out everything. He dropped right into the buzzsaw the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about such things. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's say good morning. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Ernie.
This is, go ahead and tell us about your presentation. How did you get hooked up, an actor, libertarian from Tucson, going to speak at Nexus? How did that happen?
Well, I've, for a number of years, since about 2008, I think, I've been giving talks on art and economics, art and political institutions. And, a friend of mine, Tatiana Moroz, was helping organize the conference a bit, especially getting some of the artists who are involved. And she put my name forward, and they said, let's hear a talk from you. So they granted me a very broad topic. So I'm kind of taking that and running with it and hoping we all have a good time while we're there.
And what's your topic going to be?
Well, the listed topic on the website is libertarian actors' perspective on the world, and I'm even going to broaden that out a bit and talk about libertarian artists. Going to talk a fair bit about the history of arts and how it's interacted with economics, libertarian ideas, how it's benefited from markets, and then talk about what the present state is today, what the economy looks like, what digital innovation is doing for it, and where we're going to go from there. And hoping to get a lot of good input from a lot of the wise people who will be at the conference as well, particularly about future prognostications.
Well, how old are you?
38.
Okay, so you're not a kid. I mean, you know, this is you've been around. By the time I was 38, I thought I had a pretty good beat on it. You know? The main thing that you see in culture is a lot of celebrity and actors and people you see, you recognize their face or voice or something. They got, Jennifer Lawrence said something about something, and man, she gets hammered, you know, or supported, or it's make sure she gets the next movie role and a couple extra mil, you know what I mean? So we look at what was it? It was the Emmys, right? That just happened, and
right.
And there's a lot going on there. My estimation, my observation has been that a lot of people that are in the spotlight, they're just tools for a lot of things. I mean, I was up all night working on my PowerPoint presentation, had a couple movies going on, and the one I just finished was Hunger Games, the last one, the second part, Mockingjay, and that's what she was used for. She was a symbol, and everybody's fighting over the symbol. And then the symbol put a arrow through the last president standing. So I'm going, this is what role do you think? Just because, you have a responsibility. Are you a role model? I mean, it's like Charles Barkley goes, I ain't no role model, And having this power of attention, I'm wondering, are you going to influence people to have freedom as an option? Because it's hadn't been there in Hollywood hardly. And what segment are you looking to influence? Is it the youth? Is it actors? Is it culture? Tell me about what your mission might be.
Well, I'm certainly not a celebrity, so me wearing a Magi symbol on my shirt is not going to bring the masses coming forward. But in my small part, part of it is I've produced and directed and written pieces that promote libertarian ideas. In fact, I have a film that I wrote and directed that we're almost completed with post-production. It's called Tank Man. You can check it out online at tankmanthemovie.com. We don't have the film on there, obviously, but details, and we'll be sending it out to festivals. And it's about the gentleman known as casually as Tank Man after Tiananmen Square massacre, who stood in front of the tanks and stopped them. So it's a narrative about him from when he got up that morning till he stood in front of the tanks. What was his day like? So it certainly hopes to be a controversial piece, especially since a lot of funding for Hollywood comes from China. This was a challenge because a lot of people did not want to work on the piece just because of the political nature and just what a powerful force China is in the industry now. So I've done that. I've also produced and directed staged readings where we couple it with a series of lectures or a panel where about related ideas to the staged reading. So, for instance, Jim Audison, who's a wonderful philosopher at Wake Forest University, and we produced A Man for All Seasons, and we had a panel discussion beforehand talking about ideas that would come up in the play. So your audience experiences the ideas intellectually, and then they experience them emotionally, and it gives them a richer, more syncretized evening where they can just grapple with the ideas on every level. And so it kind of engages people who are more emotional and some who are more intellectual, and forces them to just see it hit on all points. And to me, this is another great opportunity to spread the ideas.
Yeah, no, this is it's a powerful medium. Everybody's known that. Hell, Goebbels knew that.
Yeah. For good and bad, it certainly is.
So I'm curious, being an actor and in the, I guess, what would you call it? Information, entertainment, infotainment. What kind of field do you think you represent?
I mean, certainly, I would consider the film side to be entertainment, but I certainly try to merge the two with other projects.
All right, when we come back, we'll get into the details of his past and how that's directed to what he's doing and how he's supported and supported what to do what. Sometimes in this industry, if you're too influential, not so much. We want you to do it our way. Well, you can start to feel which way that is by where the dollars come from. Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, "If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid." This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card, and the sign-up bonus, enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm. Free Talk Live.
But is God against audio CDs or MP3s?
No, all that technology was stolen from the angels in the first place. You wouldn't have anything that wasn't here in 1947.
Why are you selling audio tapes on your website?
There's only one there, which is Angels Over Pendleton, shows
I see several audio
of
tapes
the angel that we communicated with.
No, you can't put video on it. You can't put video on an audio tape. I'm looking at your website here. There's a page where you've got audio tapes for sale for $6, $6.25 each.
And I bought both Nazareth and REO Speedwagon on audio tape.
On audio tape,
yeah.
But that was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting the word, if you're trying to get the word out about, what you believe is going to happen in the future, maybe you should put it on CD and at least move into the 1990s as opposed to 1985.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock. We got Robert Anthony Peters from, I guess he's from, graduated Tucson. Are you in Tucson still?
I am, yes.
Very nice, very
lived
nice.
around and about and spend more time probably out of Tucson than in Tucson, but I'm based out of Tucson.
Well, just for the audience, do we like Arizona?
I love Arizona.
Arizona rocks, man. Everybody's always about it's hot. And I'm going,
it's easy. It's not humid.
I know. I'd say they go 110. I go, yeah. Well, the hottest freaking summer I had was a couple of weeks in Iowa, man. That sucked. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going, no, you want to be down here. This is interesting to this perspective because 38, you've made your, choices already. This is, you've done, the career, education, charted a path. I mean, of course, it'll deviate here and there, but you made a decision. And one of the decisions is to make a movie about Tank Man. What we're talking about is the gentleman in Tiananmen Square carrying his groceries, standing in front of tanks. And it was so inspirational. In fact, we have, God, what was it? Challenge the State. I have buttons that we made, for a campaign that I was doing, and it was Challenge the State. And if that wasn't a really good example, there's memes of it all over. How did that come out that you wanted to make it, and where did you make it? How big a budget is it? We don't really know who it was. How did you come up with the dialogue? I mean, this is very interesting. Spend a little bit of time on that for us.
Well, I was down here actually working with David Schmitz of the University of Arizona, an amazing philosopher. And he was creating a video, and we had tapped my friend Patrick Reasonover, who has a production company in Los Angeles, to come out and shoot that. Well, Patrick also has a nonprofit called Taliesin Nexus. It should definitely, anybody who's interested in filmmaking, especially if they come from a libertarian perspective, should Google Taliesin Nexus and check out the workshops and the programs that they offer. And so Patrick was looking for projects all the time to give some funding to. And I made the mistake of opening my mouth and telling him, an idea that's been in my head for a while. What if we tell this story of this guy? Nobody knows anything about him, really, except for these few moments of footage. And it's one of the most celebrated images, both still and video. It's so powerful. I mean, I think almost everybody gets chills when they see this video or this picture, and you instantly kind of get this inspiration from it. And so I told him I'd like to tell his story. Why did he end up a seemingly ordinary fellow? What causes somebody to stand in front of a tank that's part of one of the strongest militaries in the world? So
grocery bags added. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
What's in the bag?
Well, and it wasn't premeditated. I think.
I want to know what's in the bag in your movie, man. What's in the bag?
You'll get to see. You'll get to see those bags.
Well, was that a thing? You go, we'll just throw some rocks in there, or were you like, you go, no, we gotta.
You see the bags get packed. So
okay. Well, I was wondering if one had a gas mask or something.
Yeah,
you don't know.
No. I think this was just an ordinary fellow who, kind of had his falling down moment. It just something clicked, and he wasn't going to take it any longer. And so, this wasn't something he set out to do that morning, but it was something that he was compelled to do.
When you say falling down, I remember the movie with was it Michael Douglas?
Michael, yep.
You know, and it was just a guy just broke, man. He was in L.A. traffic, and it just went. But was that a phrase from before that? Was he representing some phrase, or did it come from that?
You know, when I use that phrase, I think of that movie.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't, I don't know.
Okay, I just want the audience to know. It just means, man, you're done. You just break.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that happens to a lot of people. You know, they kind of have that interaction. They say, you know, no.
I'm
surprised
surprised
not something they necessarily build up to.
I'm surprised this movie hasn't been done already. I'm wondering where the resistance is.
It's a good question. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, certainly there were people who were reticent about being involved. You know, fortunately, my friend and his organization were bold enough to accept this and take this on.
You know, this is I did a show I was really happy with, and I haven't done it enough. I should update it and do it again. Years ago, I did a show, 3 hours, of just all of the blockbuster movies that libertarians celebrate and we enjoy, and they're all blockbusters. You know, why were they blockbusters? It's always, you know, it's Braveheart and Patriot and Gladiator and Lord of the Rings and V for Vendetta and you know, these kinds of movies, and you're going, why? It's always the individual versus the collective. You know, it's the underdog. It's the, you know, the principled guy standing up against the overwhelming force of, and man, people go spend some money. So, you know, you keep...
And did you ever see the movie Wild River by Elia Kazan?
With Bacon?
No, this is that's Mystic River. Great movie. That is a great movie. But Wild River, much older. Rock Hudson, and I forget the woman starring it, but it's a grandma. It's about the Tennessee Valley Authority, and she does not want to move from her property, and that's that. And it's just a tremendous story of this individual. And I love those, especially when you have, you know, in this case, it was a little old grandmother. You know, in the story that I'm telling, it's just, you know, your average fella. And to me, those are really remarkable. Much as I enjoy the Gladiators and the Bravehearts, I mean, these guys are like beefed up and ready for a fight. I mean, these people are the heroes you expect. And I think it's really tremendous when you get to see the stories of the people that you wouldn't necessarily think of as heroes, but they just I
want to talk about the Tank Man. We'll spend this segment on this because I want to know the resistance to it. The reason was what? Just because China's in Hollywood so much?
I think that's a big part of it. Part of the casting process is I wanted an all Chinese cast. I thought that was essential. I mean, if I have one Japanese person in there, it's easy for people to cry foul, and you know, this is a running dog capitalist film. You know, part of the enemies. I mean, they'll probably say that anyways, but I'd like to make it a more difficult case. But you know, some people, they've got relatives back home, and they know that if they're a part of something that's not approved of, you know, they and their relatives could face repercussions for that, or it could jeopardize your ability to go back to China or to work in China.
Is the movie done?
It's almost done. We're getting there shortly. It'll be screening in October in Washington, D.C. and New York.
So you're post-production?
Yes.
Okay, so it's done. It's just you're finishing.
Oh, it's already shot. Yeah, it just has to be finished editing.
Wow, I know how long that takes. So yeah,
we're almost there.
Well, when did you start doing it?
We shot it last October. So.
Wow. Now okay, I'm interested. Does it tell the story of Tiananmen Square? I mean, is that the base, or is it just his life?
That's the background. It's really.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
Well. We have a gentleman that's been, from a young age, has probably been, at least 10, 15 years or more involved in the libertarian community, trying to be of influence and of worth, get his stuff funded, have some support, being able to do what he wants to do and be successful at it. If you're at this age of 38, getting support for Tank Man, the movie, that, sounds very interesting. We want to, promote that. Donna's putting it up in the archive for you guys. But I'm wondering what the mission is. There's a big rift that's been going on forever, and it's dusting up again. And it's just been this opposition to a principled stand, an educational of hardcore. No, we're not going to lessen entitlement. We're not going to lessen, I want to replace the income tax with nothing. I mean, that kind of thing. And that has been opposed by a lot of people that are political because they don't believe that principled politics or principles is practical. there's you got to soft sell and do and kind of, well, I'm all about the culture, but it's got to be based on something. And I'm wondering what you're basing it on. What's your hardcore you're willing to say on the air right now? Man, I'm a hardcore none of something, or are you kind of more just want to get the mood out there and people that appreciate freedom? How do you feel about these things?
Well, I'm pretty out there of considering myself to be an anarcho-capitalist, so I don't. I'm not afraid of using that phrase or identifying myself that way. But
hell, nobody is anymore. I mean, they couldn't even spell libertarian 20 years ago. Now you can't, swing a dead cat without hitting some politician tell you how libertarian he is. Hell, the reason I ran against McCain in 2004 was because he said he was libertarian in the Chicago Tribune. I'm like, hell no. No. So I'm just, saying that now, man, were you libertarian before it was co? So I'm just, I want to get what your hardcore issue is.
I grew up in San Francisco, and I would have been considered myself more conservative when I was younger, and I think largely I probably would have just been more of a reactionary to the culture. But definitely by college, as I had, been working through ideas more rigorously, I would have considered myself a libertarian about 18 years old or so. Well,
define that for the audience. What do you think that means?
What's that? What does libertarian mean?
Yeah. I mean, I ask 100 people, I get 100 different answers. So, I mean, what's yours?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I probably take a similar definition for that as most would, that it would be about as small a possible government, to the point where I think it could be negated entirely. But that, its only job, if it has any, would be to protect the rights of people.
Ding, ding. That's why this show is called Declare Your Independence, because it says right there, man, when the only reason you have government is defend individual rights. When it doesn't do that, time to alter or abolish. I go boom, boom, right. boom. I mean, this is so simple to me, and I'm wondering, as someone with the influence as you move forward in your career, to have an influential position in movies. I'm a big movie buff, man. I mean, not as much as some. God, I say that, and then they geek me out. But the thing is I see the power of it. And this medium is so influential, and like you say, that why the hell you think China's buying Hollywood? Because they like Hollywood? I mean, it's influential. And they make sure certain movies don't get made or certain movies do get made. I remember Red Dawn was going to be China, and they go, no, not so much. We'll make it North Korean.
Yeah. Well, I would say, part of it is China is investing. The other big part is that you've got people want their films to be screened in China because it's such a huge market. So people are voluntarily catering to that because they don't want to lose out on that money.
Yeah, so's Google. Audience. So's Facebook.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a huge consumer base, and everybody wants a piece of it.
How, it's one thing, you look at what's happened with Google and the influences from, intelligence community and so on. You go, were they thinking that they could kind of get in and use their resources, and the deep state or whatever surveillance state didn't really understand when you opened up this communication thing? It doesn't matter if you know who the dissidents are. It's just going to overwhelm them anyway. It's kind of like the movie industry. Once we get movies in there and we just, they won't even know the impact of showing somebody eating a Snickers. I mean, it's just, I'm just, you see my point? I'm wondering what is so powerful about libertarianism that you would portray it in a subtle way and have the biggest impact. What one thing you think it would be?
Boy,
let me give you an example. I just had somebody on their flash drives for freedom. You just donate all your flash drives, and they put a bunch of stuff on it, and they smuggle them into North Korea because they have these devices that, a USB can plug in. They do it. So we're working on with them doing the philosophy of liberty in Korean, it's a long story. But the one thing he said, we use movies and to get them to watch the stuff on there, and we'll have something else in there seeding it. But One North Korean, he goes, you don't understand the power in that society of something as innocuous as Titanic.
Yeah, that was Yeonmi Park saying that, right?
Was that
yeah,
who it
yeah.
was?
That's the gal who came out of North Korea. I've heard her give that talk where she talks about Titanic and those concepts of romantic love and other things that they just don't experience in North Korea.
Well, the thing is that you had, just for the audience, is that at the end when he gives his life for his girlfriend, Leonardo DiCaprio, takes the plunge. When that happened, it wasn't for the state. It was for the love of an individual, which is a foreign concept to them.
Right.
I'm going, wow. So
there's the older, possibly apocryphal story of Stalin, who loved film, and he had a screening of The Grapes of Wrath for the proletariat, and he sent out his minions to listen to what people were saying after the movie, and as they were walking home, they were remarking that, wow, in America, even the poor are driving cars.
Right.
So,
see, it's amazing, the kind of, the things that you wouldn't think. What is in China? You have a impact there. Do you think Tank Man will even get shown there?
Well, I doubt it. It's certainly not going to stop us from submitting to the Beijing International Film Festival, but it's it's highly unlikely. Louisa Lim wrote a great book called The People's Republic of Amnesia, and it's all about how nobody knows, very few people know about the Tiananmen Square massacre. They don't know who Tank Man is. I mean, this is wiped from the history books. They've got such a stranglehold on it, and people kind of join in to collectively work to forget that this ever even happened.
Hey, they got Chinese citizenship points, man, on their app of whatever.
Yeah,
I know. It's on their dating apps. I got a perfect score of I'm a good Sieg Heiler, man.
Yeah,
This is in this industry, we throw all these stones at these totalitarian countries or whatever the heck they are now, and we're so bad here.
Yeah, it's certainly not just a film for China, but it's a film for every country, for that matter, for the people everywhere to look and say, hey, what is your government doing? Where's your line in the sand? And hopefully it'll be an aspirational film for people to work towards figuring that out. What are they willing to do?
Yeah, my thing has always been, the arts and the movies and all that it's a cultural impact. Voting and policy and all that stuff follows the culture.
You have to start with the culture. Everything's downstream from there, as Breitbart would say.
Amen, brother. Because I'm looking at, that's why they spend trillions, literally trillions of dollars over generations to mandatory youth indoctrinate our children. From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io. The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Freedom is the answer. What's the question?
I want to break free.
You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what we do here on Declare Your Independence and freedomsphoenix.com. This is it's an important thing to me is that, well, everybody's doing a little good and you're kind of good and it's all about being good. And so I'm going, if you're advocating for the root of what's bad, well, we're going to have kinder, gentler taxation or kinder, gentler, social program. If a kinder, gentler, we're going to rip you off and do over here and kinder, gentler. I'm not a fan. I've gotten past that. I'm just not, it doesn't work. It's always, they're trying to change the culture to what makes you a good or a bad person. So let's ask Robert Anthony Peters. He's in this space. He's going to be, and we got Tank Man, okay? Which says, we are going to find out all about Robert Anthony Peters when we watch that movie. I guarantee it, because you get to do whatever you want it, and it's going to be an individual against an oppressive collective. And did you get into any philosophy? Does he have a motivation that drives him to stand in front of tanks?
I did not, and I think that a lot of these folks. We end up applying philosophies post hoc and to ourselves as well as the actions of others. And so many of these kind of incidents that occurred, I think, really are driven by more of an emotional response and more of an in-the-moment change that really captures that. Afterwards, we kind of figure out, why did I get so upset? And maybe work on developing a philosophy after that. But you think about it, when you were a child, you probably were against rules that didn't make sense to you. But she didn't have like a very well-developed libertarian, anarchist, voluntarist philosophy. And that came along later to help understand why you felt the way you did.
You know, I tell you, it comes from the early age. You come up upon, let's say, Charlottesville. You come up upon, you got, Black Lives and whatever matters over here, and, my skinhead and Ku Klux whatever matters more over here. And I go in and you side with one or the other, or you just to hell with both of them. But, the thing is that why? I mean, there's some fundamental thing.